Chapter 1507. The Mystic Heaven Sect and the 10,000 Poison Sect wanted to find Germa, the person in charge of the Universe Book Media Company, in the Flowing Cloud star field. After all, this person had been in contact with Wu Wudi before, and had even helped him publish books. Presumably, he knew Wu Wudi's identity. Unfortunately, Germa said that he did not know either. Even if the two sides were working together, Wu Wudi had hidden his identity. Even his bank account was in the Universe Bank. This bank's security level was extremely high. Even sages could not check it. Of course, the people from the two sects did not believe Germa's words, and wanted to extort a confession. Unfortunately, Germa had long become a high-ranking member of the Universe Book Media Company. This company was extremely powerful, and Germa was also from a large family. He was not someone to be trifled with. In the end, the two sects could only give up helplessly. However, because of the actions of the Mystic Heaven Sect and the 10,000 Poison Sect, what Xia Ping had done in the northern and southern universe spread throughout the eastern universe. Countless people knew about Wu Wudi, especially in the 5 major star fields ruled by the Soaring Cloud Sect: Red Cloud Star Field, Blue Cloud Star Field, Azure Cloud Star Field, White Cloud Star Field, and Flowing Cloud Star Field. Damn, Wu Wudi has appeared again. Really? He's out again. Which victim was tricked this time? How much money did he scam? To be honest, although I don't know what happened, I think the victim shouldn't call the police. It's useless. This bastard has people above him. Everyone discussed. They were already used to Xia Ping's actions. Sometimes, when this fellow did not appear for a long time, they were not used to it. No, this time it's not as simple as someone being tricked. Do you know the 10,000 Poison Sect? Yes, it's that demonic sect that's good at using poison. The sect that everyone fears like a venomous snake. Now that Wu Wudi has offended them, even angering the 10,000 Poison Sect, he's wanted throughout the universe. Damn, this guy wants to go to heaven. It's fine if he offends ordinary people, but he actually dares to offend the 10,000 Poison Sect. He's even a lawless demon. Is he tired of living? It's said that that guy caused trouble in the southern universe and destroyed no less than 20 commercial planets. The number of deaths exceeded 3 trillion, causing the 10,000 Poison Clan to suffer heavy losses. He's listed as an eternal enemy who won't stop until he's dead. It's not just the 10,000 Poison Clan. I heard that the Black Heaven Clan, a Saint-class clan in the northern universe, has also fallen victim to this bastard. He ruined a major event for the Black Heaven Clan, causing the Black Heaven Clan to hate him to the bone. Isn't that right? This bastard is shameless to the extreme. He even pretended to be a disciple of the Mysterious Heaven Sect, and made the Mysterious Heaven Sect take the blame. He even caused the Mysterious Heaven Sect and the 10,000 Poison Sect, 2 great sects, to fight, causing countless casualties. Damn it, did this guy change his profession? You're no longer a swindler, but a bandit killing, arson, burning, and looting? I've long said that Wu Wudi has the potential to become a universe-level fugitive, but I didn't expect this day to come so soon. He's courting death by offending 2 saint-level sects at the same time. That guy is dead for sure. If he dares to stick his head out, he will die. Many forces said the same thing before, but they're still alive and kicking. That's right. That guy is a universe-level swindler. His concealment skills are top-notch. Who can catch him? Everyone discussed among themselves. They were also completely shocked by this matter. Originally, in their eyes, Wu Wudi was just a swindler who relied on his superb methods to deceive countless people. This swindler did not dare to offend the real big shots. Who would have thought that this guy would even offend the saint-level sects? He even used cunning methods to cause the 2 great sects to fight, causing countless deaths and injuries? He had done something earth-shattering. Now this guy was no longer just a swindler. He was also a ferocious fugitive wanted by 2 saint-level sects at the same time. He was the kind who had killed tens of thousands of people. This news also spread throughout the Soaring Cloud Sect's 5 major star regions. Most people knew about this matter. At this time, the saintess of the Soaring Cloud Sect, Yi Mengyao, also heard the news. Senior sister, this damn swindler is so bold. He dares to offend 2 saint-level sects at the same time. Did he eat a bear's heart or a leopard's heart? Who gave him the courage to do so? Just thinking about it scares me to death. I feel like I won't be able to sleep well for the rest of my life if I become enemies with two saint-level sections. That's right. Even if there are saint-level sects behind him, he doesn't feel safe at all. Isn't that right? Especially the 10,000 Poison sect. This demonic sect specializes in using poison. Their methods are strange, and they kill people without leaving a trace. If you are targeted by a disciple of such a sect, you will definitely die. I'm afraid that Wu Wudi is really dead this time. Many of the Soaring Cloud sect's female disciples were discussing. They also knew about the feud between Yi Mingyao and Wu Wudi. They were also very concerned about this super swindler, who was famous in the 5 major star regions. Dead? Yi Mingyao chuckled. Haha, good people don't live long, but scourges live for 1,000 years. I'm afraid that even if you all die, that swindler will still be alive. That can't be. Does senior sister Yi think so highly of that swindler? A junior sister asked in confusion. It's not that I think highly of him. I just know myself and my enemy. Yi Mingyao sneered. That swindler never does anything he's not confident in. He's meticulous. So far, I haven't seen him suffer a loss. Instead, those who deal with him are all unlucky. Since that guy dares to do such a thing, he must be fully prepared. His identity will not be exposed, let alone the 10,000 Poison sect and the Mystic Heaven sect. Think about it. The universe is vast and boundless. If the Mystic Heaven sect and the 10,000 Poison sect don't have any clues and don't know each other's names and addresses, how can they find a stranger? Many of the junior sisters of the Soaring Cloud sect were speechless. It was indeed so. It seemed that the Mystic Heaven sect and the 10,000 Poison sect were murderous and arrogant, but in fact they were strong on the outside. They had no confidence in finding Wu Wudi. After all, the universe was so big. Just the Eastern universe alone had countless star regions. They would not be able to find each other, even if they hid in one of them. Sages were not omnipotent. And didn't you pay attention to some information? Yi Mingyao's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of coldness. That Wu Wudi is improving extremely quickly. 2 years ago, he hadn't even stepped into the Purple Mansion realm. Now, he can actually kill a golden core perfected master. The speed of his improvement is simply incredible. If he didn't hide his strength before, and relied on his own strength to advance, he would simply be an unparalleled monster. If he was given more time to grow, I'm afraid it would be the Mystic Heaven sect, and the 10,000 Poison sects turn to be unlucky. It can't be. In just 2 years, he went from being an ant in the Purple Mansion realm to an expert who can kill a golden core perfected master. How can there be such a monster? I can't believe it. That's right. I'm more inclined to believe that guy hid his strength and only revealed it now. Senior sister Ye's guess is too frightening. It's simply unrealistic. Many of the female disciples of the Soaring Cloud sect felt that Yi Mingyao's guess was outrageous and unreliable. It would be great if I guessed wrong. Otherwise, if he was given more time to grow, I'm afraid not many people would be able to do anything to him. Yi Mingyao clenched her fist, and her beautiful eyes revealed a trace of light. Chapter 1508. What is this place? The stars passed through the black hole, and Xiaoping came out. He looked at his surroundings, and found that he seemed to have come to a very mysterious spatial world. He found that this was not a continent, nor was it a planet, but a mystic world, similar to a half-plane world. Such a place was very rare. Strange. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked around. He found that he had come to a plain. There were weeds as tall as half a person everywhere, stretching as far as the eye could see. However, the air was filled with a strong aura of the abyss and hell. If this was the abyss world, it should be full of dark and corrosive power. and plants should not be able to survive. The problem was that the plants in this place were lush and lush. At the same time, this place also exuded infinite vitality. This kind of spatial world where death and vitality existed at the same time was simply unheard of and unseen. Corinne, do you know where this place is? Xiaoping asked. He could feel that after entering this mystic world, the bloodline in his body was stirring, seemingly resonating with it. The environment here was very beneficial to him. Corinne shook his head. I'm not sure. Although similar half-planes are rare, there are still many of them in the entire universe. There are even more strange mystic worlds. I don't know what this place is, but the abyss aura in this place is so dense. It might have been invaded by the power of the abyss before. It said its guess. There's such a thing. Xiaoping touched his chin, his eyes shining. If this place had been invaded by the power of the abyss before, perhaps this place had a treasure that would be of great benefit to his cultivation. Master, there seems to be an aura of life 300 miles ahead. It might be a creature of this mystic world, but it doesn't seem very strong. The strongest is probably only at the divine realm. The green ox's voice was also transmitted to Xiaoping's mind. Then let's go and take a look. Xiaoping immediately decided to make contact with this group of creatures. Now that he was skilled and bold, he was not afraid of the creatures living in this mystic world. If there was anything he needed to know, he could just go up and ask. Whoosh! His figure flickered and turned into a Kuan Peng, soaring through the clouds. After a few breaths, he flew 300 miles, and soon arrived at the destination that the green ox mentioned. Xiaoping looked down from above, and immediately saw a large group of people coming from the distance. They seemed to be humans, but they were dressed in simple and unadorned clothing, as if they were people from ancient times. Some wore long robes, some wore steel armor, and some held steel swords. There was also a large number of carriages with many goods on them. It looked like a caravan. There were guards and merchants among them, and they looked around vigilantly. They did not relax for even a moment, as if there was a great danger hidden in this grassland. Seeing this, Xiaoping immediately descended and appeared in front of the group. Blah blah. When this group of people saw Xiaoping appear, they immediately acted as if they were facing a great enemy. They looked nervous and shouted loudly. Some of them raised their spears, broadswords, swords, and longbows, immediately forming a guard formation. They roared at Xiaoping, as if warning him not to approach, or else they would serve him with swords and sabers. But even so, they did not attack first, as if they did not dare to attack first. What are they talking about? Xiaoping was confused. This group of humans were speaking the dialect of this world, not the universal language, nor the language of Yanhuang Star, but another indigenous language. The green ox and Corinne also couldn't understand. After all, there are hundreds of millions of races in the universe, countless planets, and countless types of languages. If the pronunciation is a little different, it will make a world of difference. Even saints dare not say that they are proficient in the language of the entire universe. It's a bit troublesome. If I can't understand what these people are saying, doesn't that mean I can't find out the intelligence of this world? Xiaoping thought for a while, and remembered the omnipotent system, and immediately asked, System, do you have a way to translate the language of the creatures in this world? That's simple, the system replied. Translating the language of this secret world only requires 1,000 hatred points, but the system recommends that the host buy a universal translation fruit, which is worth 1 billion hatred points. As long as you take this fruit, no matter how remote the language is, within 100 breaths, the host can automatically learn the language of the other party. So powerful? But isn't 1 billion hatred points too expensive? This is just a translation, Xiaoping said. No, it's not expensive at all. Language can be said to be one of the most important skills in the universe. Without language communication, you can't even know what the other party is saying, which will cause countless troubles. The system said. Now, as long as you take a universal translation fruit, you can be proficient in the language of all races of the heavens. It is estimated that even a saint would think of it, which will also bring great convenience to the host. Xiaoping also admitted that if he could learn the language of all races of the heavens in an instant, it would be a powerful ability. The universal translation fruit can be called a kind of heaven and earth strange fruit. If you want to walk in every corner of the universe and communicate with all races, it is absolutely impossible not to understand each other's language. Okay, exchange. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately chose to exchange. Whoosh! As soon as his voice fell, the system immediately deducted 1 billion hatred points from Xiaoping, leaving only 4 billion hatred points. Immediately, a crystal-like fruit fell into Xiaoping's hands. With a smacking sound, Xiaoping immediately ate the fruit without saying a word. It melted in his mouth and turned into a stream of energy that quickly poured into the depths of his brain. Immediately, he felt a mysterious crystal talisman appear in his mind in an instant, engraved into the depths of his soul. And these creatures of the secret realm world were still shouting. Their voices also turned into waves of sound, transmitted into the depths of his brain, analyzed and deconstructed by the crystal talisman. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 10 breaths passed. Boom! Xiaoping's mind shook. The original voices and language of these creatures had now become easy to understand, like the language of Yinhuang planet, penetrating into the depths of his soul. He also immediately understood what these people were shouting. Although the introduction said that it could deconstruct the language of all races of the heavens within 100 breaths, a few breaths were enough for the simpler language, and 100 breaths were needed for the difficult language. Stranger, leave quickly. This is the storm caravan. If you dare to come within 100 meters of the caravan, kill without mercy. You are not welcome here. I will only give you 10 breaths to think about it. If you still dare to come closer, we will defend ourselves. One by one, the guards roared, very vigilant and murderous towards Xiaoping. The people of the caravan were terrified, afraid that something bad would happen, and huddled together. Hello everyone. Chapter 1509. Damn you! Don't be so cheeky. The leader of the guards did not appreciate it and shouted, Stranger, leave immediately. You are not allowed to step within 10 meters of the Tempest caravan, or you will die for sure. Do you understand? Many of the guards aimed their longbows at Xiaoping with a murderous aura. I have no ill intentions. I just want to ask you one thing. If I'm done, I might leave. Xiaoping spread his hands to show that he had no ill intentions. Get out now. Leave without stopping. Stranger, we have nothing to answer. We don't have time for that. You have 3 breaths of time to leave, or we will attack immediately, regardless of life or death. The guards shouted. Their attitudes were very bad, and their eyes were fierce. They did not want to listen to anything Xiaoping had to say, nor did they want to answer any of his questions. Before they could finish, Xiaoping suddenly stepped forward and stomped on the ground. A terrifying power came from his body, like a divine elephant coming out of the mountains. Dong! The power of this stomp was like billions of tons of explosives exploding at the same time. With a cracking sound, a terrifying crack immediately appeared, stretching for dozens of kilometers, almost splitting the land in half. An earthquake with a magnitude of 7 or 8 occurred within a radius of hundreds of kilometers. The Tempest caravan people were scared half to death, peeing their pants and falling to the ground. The horses were so scared that they wanted to break free and run in all directions. The group of arrogant and despotic guards were so scared that their faces turned ashen. Their legs were trembling, and they looked at Xiaoping as if they had seen a ghost. There was no longer any arrogance in their eyes. They could not imagine that if Xiaoping targeted them, most of them would be killed in an instant. They would not even have the strength to struggle. Can you talk properly now? Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the group indifferently. A powerful pressure came from his body, like a mountain crushing down on everyone. With a thud, the guards knelt on the ground, kowtowing as if they were pounding garlic. They were as obedient as chickens. Sir, we are sorry. Our attitude was a bit arrogant just now. Please spare our lowly lives. We won't do it again. We really won't do it again. Sir, we will answer whatever you want to ask. We guarantee that we will tell you everything in detail. We will tell you everything we know. If we dare to hide anything, let the heavens strike us with lightning. You are our father. We will do whatever you want us to do. The guards said flatteringly, as if they were slaves bowing and scraping. They were all shameless, directly calling him father. All of them swore to the heavens that they would tell him everything without hiding anything. Just now, Xiaoping's ferocious might had scared them out of their wits. No matter how many lives you had, it wouldn't be enough to fight against such a fiendish god. I'm trying to give you face, but you don't want it. I was just talking to you guys nicely just now, but all of you are acting like you're $250. Now you know how powerful I am. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. It seems like the universal translation fruit is fake. Only fists can make people speak properly. This is a principle that applies everywhere. He was very emotional. He reckoned that only fists were the true universal translator. If they didn't listen, he would beat them up. If they always listened to him, he could even make them take the initiative to learn his language. The Tempest Caravan's people were extremely sullen, but they had no choice but to lower their heads. Facing such a terrifying fiendish god, if they dared to say anything arrogant, they would probably be beaten half to death. Xiaoping wanted to ask about this mystic realm, but all of a sudden, he sensed a monstrous killing intent emanating from the originally peaceful grassland, blanketing the surroundings. This killing intent was extremely evil, as if it contained deep malice. It seeped into one's soul, making one shudder. Whoosh! Whoosh! In an instant, giant snakes attacked from all directions. Each of them was dozens of feet long, completely black and covered in black scales. They flicked their tongues from time to time. The most terrifying thing was that their pupils were gray and emitted a cursed aura. Wherever they passed, stones, soil, weeds, and everything else turned to stone. It's over, it's all over. These are petrified demon snakes. I didn't expect to be so unlucky to meet the overlords of the grassland. We will all die here today. Run, run quickly. If we are targeted by these petrified demon snakes, we will all be petrified and become their food. How do we run? Just wait for death. We have been targeted by these snakes for a long time. If they surround us from all directions, we will die for sure. There is no way to escape. Why are there so many petrified demon snakes all of a sudden? What happened? The Tempest Caravan's people were in despair. There were hundreds and thousands of petrified demon snakes coming from all directions. It was like an army coming to crush them. They were probably nothing in front of these petrified demon snakes, who could eat them however they wanted. Normally, a dozen petrified demon snakes would be enough to kill them all. Now that there were thousands of them, they were dead for sure. Petrified demon snakes? Are these creatures from the abyss world? Xiaoping squinted, his divine sense sensing the aura of these petrified demon snakes. These creatures were filled with a thick abyss aura, but they were different from the creatures of the abyss world. Because the abyss world was extremely evil, their minds were filled with killing and chaos. They were completely irrational. Curse. Too weak. Xiaoping maintained his unique breathing. His qi and blood were boiling in his body, and there seemed to be a divine elephant awakening in the depths of his body, as if it had awakened all kinds of miracles of the divine elephant. When this breathing technique was cultivated to a higher level, all kinds of mysterious and tyrannical powers of the divine elephant would appear in his body, and he would slowly possess the true power of the divine elephant. Under the support of this power, he felt that the power of the curse was too weak. It was not qualified to deal with him at all. It was like an ant trying to shake a tree. Invulnerable. The power of the divine elephant surged in Xiaoping's body. It was overbearing, powerful, supreme, noble and ancient. This power had a strong repelling nature, and any negative power would be instantly expelled. Bang! This punch was like a divine elephant raising its trunk, bombarding the gray aura. In an instant, the gray aura turned into powder and was completely destroyed. It seemed that this punch could even shatter atoms, and it had the power to shatter the vacuum. Immediately, over 100 petrified demon snakes could not dodge in time. Their bodies immediately exploded, and they were completely blown up. Their huge bodies were turned into meat paste, splattering on the ground. Even the ground was blasted into a crater with a diameter of more than 10 kilometers. It was as if a nuclear bomb had exploded here. The rumbling sound caused intense tremors in a radius of hundreds of miles, and soil flew everywhere. Monster, is he still human? Even the power of petrification has no effect on him. Where did this expert come from? I can't believe we dared to shout at such a big shot before. Now that I think about it, we were really brave. We didn't want to live anymore. He's a beast in human form. Those petrified demon snakes are so terrifying. Every single one of them has the power of thousands of kilograms. Just a little bit of them can overturn rivers and seas, and the ground will shake. But they were all blown up by a punch from Master. This is a massacre. How is this a battle? This is a one-sided massacre. The people of the Windstorm Caravan were all trembling. They had never seen such a terrifying expert, who killed the petrified demon snakes like killing chickens. It was as if they were watching the birth of a legend. The petrified demon snakes were terrified. They were the overlords of the grasslands, and they were invincible. Normally, a small human would only be food for them, and they would kill him in an instant and turn him into food. But what was going on? Their bodies, which were strong enough to block cannonballs and swords, had been torn apart and blown up so easily. Even their ability to petrify was ignored by this person, and they were all crushed by a punch. The power that they were so proud of had been completely useless. Against this human, they were as weak as chickens. Whoosh! Xiaoping stepped forward, fighting against the petrified demon snakes. But the petrified demon snakes were terrified. There was only one person, and yet they felt as if they had been surrounded. Despite their numbers, they did not feel safe at all. Wait, human, we can negotiate. If we keep fighting, both sides will definitely suffer losses. Damned human! Stop. I told you to stop, but you still dare to attack? You're forcing our hand. Let's go all out. Let's go all out against this human. He wants us to die, so we won't let him have an easy time. Even if he dies, we'll bite off a piece of his flesh. No, don't. Arg! Who's the monster here? The petrified demon snakes roared, then screamed, and then wailed in grief and terror. They tried to resist, but this human was too terrifying. With a single punch, their bodies were crushed like tofu. Their petrifying power and toxic power were all useless. They were all crushed by a single punch. Dong! 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 The sound of war drums rang out from beneath the grasslands. Blood roiled, and an hour later, the bodies of the petrified demon snakes were reduced to minced meat. Chapter 15:11. 2 hours later. At this moment, a huge grill had been erected on the grassland, and the petrified demon snakes were all skewered on it. The flames were spreading, and the snakes were being roasted. The surrounding area was filled with the fragrance of roasted meat. The meat was roasted until it was golden yellow, and the fragrance assailed the nostrils. Many Storm Caravan members were busy roasting the petrified snakes. Sir, the petrified snakes are done. Storm Caravan leader Meng Nan ran to Xiaoping's side. He was 2 meters tall, and had muscles all over his body. He looked very tough, but now he was fawning like a slave. But the others didn't look down on Meng Nan, because Xiaoping was too valiant. There were more than 1,000 petrified devil snakes in the prairie, but they were all killed by Xiaoping. It could be said that most of the petrified snakes on the plains had been wiped out. Facing such a ferocious person, it was normal to be humble. Not bad. Xiaoping was very satisfied, and started to eat the petrified demon snakes. After fighting, he was also extremely hungry. Under the dumbfounded eyes of Meng Nan and the others, he began his journey of devouring the petrified demonic snake. Big chunks of snake meat were eaten into his stomach. The petrified snake meat contained boundless energy. After entering Xiaoping's stomach, it was immediately digested by the solar furnace, turning into pure energy that flowed into his limbs. Rumbled Xiaoping felt his body warm, and his blood boiled like lava. With the help of the petrified snakes, the golden crow of hell cells in his body had actually awakened. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000. In the end, after eating thousands of petrified demonic snakes, he had awakened 500,000 golden crow hell cells in his body. The golden crow of hell bloodline in his body had also been strengthened, and his power was rising. His body was surrounded by red light, shining like a sun. At the same time, his spiritual power had increased, and he was one step closer to the pinnacle of the true fire realm. The Storm Caravan members all retreated a few hundred meters in fear, not daring to get close to Xiaoping. The aura was too hot, as if they were in a volcano. If they got too close, they would be scalded by this scorching aura. The weeds on the ground would be burned by this aura and turn into ashes. Amazing! The group of people widened their eyes in shock. They felt that Xiaoping's stomach was a bottomless pit. That was over 1,000 petrified demonic snakes. That was probably enough food to feed a town's residents for a month. Now he had finished all of them in a single meal. His appetite was frightening. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Xiaoping turned around and asked the group of people, "All right, tell me about your origins. Where are you from? What are you doing here?" "Yes, my lord. We are a caravan from the nearby Green Sun City." The leader of the Windstorm caravan, Meng Nan, immediately said, "We left Green Sun City this time in order to go to Dongtu town. It's said that someone in that town obtained a large amount of underworld stones. Therefore, we immediately purchased a large number of supplies and planned to head to Dongtu town to trade with the local residents. We hope to be able to exchange for a large number of nether stones and make a fortune." Netherstone? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He continued to ask and finally understood some information about this arcane realm. In this arcane realm, there seemed to be no country. It was all centered around a single city, with a radius of thousands of miles. It was considered a region. These people belonged to the sphere of influence of Green Sun City. However, because this world was very vast, they did not know much about other places. They only knew about the area around Green Sun City. Moreover, they could not be blamed for being ignorant. This world was just too dangerous. It was a world where fiendish demons ran amok. 10,000 years ago, this world was originally very ordinary. However, fiendish demons suddenly appeared in this world and ran amok everywhere. With their powerful strength and strange abilities, they began to rule the entire world. Countless humans were unable to resist the tyrannical fiendish demons and were slaughtered one after another. Although after 10,000 years of resistance, humans had built cities to protect themselves, and countless human heroes had appeared, the fiendish demons still held the absolute advantage. Humans were slaughtered like ants. Therefore, the humans in this world led a miserable life. If they were not careful, they would be killed and eaten by powerful fiendish demons. From time to time, they would hear of a city's humans being eaten by a great fiendish demon and turned into food. Therefore, this world was filled with danger. It was extremely difficult for ordinary people to travel more than 100 miles. Once they encountered a fiendish demon, they would undoubtedly die. Where did the fiendish demons appear from? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. He felt that the fiendish demons would not appear for no reason. That we do not know. After all, our status is very low. We do not know much about confidential information. Storm Caravan leader Meng Nan said shamefully, indicating that he did not know. Xiaoping nodded. He was not disappointed. After all, such matters were only known by the upper echelons. It seemed like he could only learn more by heading to Green Sun City. By the way, what is a nether stone? Xiaoping continued asking. A nether stone is an energy stone that contains boundless nether power. It is a product of the fiendish demons appearing in this world. It is an excellent treasure for demon annihilators that can advance their cultivation. Meng Nan explained. Chapter 15:12. After asking Meng Nan a few more questions, Xiaoping realized that Meng Nan really did not know much, so he had to give up. He then decided to follow the storm caravan for the time being. He wanted to learn more about this world, and he also wanted to go to Qingyang City. Presumably, the people in the city would know more. If his guess was right, then this world might be connected to hell. In that case, he might have a chance to enter hell and see the real hell. For him, hell was a place with countless opportunities. If he had the chance to enter, he would definitely gain endless benefits. He would quickly improve his cultivation, and the Hell Golden Crow bloodline in his body would evolve even faster. Hearing that Xiaoping wanted to temporarily follow the storm caravan, Meng Nan and the others were excited. With such a powerful demon destroyer by their side, their trip would be worry-free. After all, buying the dark stone was an extremely dangerous act. Once the aura of the dark stone was leaked, it would most likely attract countless demons. At that time, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. It was even possible that they would all be killed. But if they succeeded, they would also make a lot of money. Strange, why would Master Xia ask about this? This should be common knowledge. It is indeed strange. It seems like Master Xia does not know the common knowledge of this world. Shut up immediately. Do you want to die? How dare you speculate about Master Xia? Whatever Master Xia wants to ask, we will answer. Don't think too much about other things. The more you know, the faster you die. Don't you understand this? That's right. Let's not get too involved in this matter. Such a big shot's business is not something we small people can understand. Stop talking about it. Yes, master. One by one, the people of the storm caravan fell silent. They did not dare to ask any more questions. They were also afraid that if their suspicions were known by Xia Ping, they would not have a good ending. The maxim that curiosity killed the cat was not limited to planet Yanhuang. It was the same everywhere in the universe. The storm caravan traveled all the way through grasslands, forests, and valleys. After a day and a night, they finally arrived at their destination, Dongtu Town. Along the way, they did not encounter many demons. Because they had killed more than 1,000 petrified demon snakes, their bodies were filled with a thick aura of death. This caused the surrounding fiendish demons to be extremely frightened, not daring to act rashly. Once they sensed the group's aura, most of the demons retreated. This also made the journey extremely safe. They did not encounter any accidents and arrived at their destination easily. This made the members of the storm caravan extremely happy. They had never heard of such a safe journey. It was many times safer than staying in Qingyang City. At this moment, a group of people stood at the entrance of the small town to welcome them. Welcome, everyone from the storm caravan. I am Zheng Ming, the mayor of Dongtu Town. Welcome to Dongtu Town. An old man in a black robe appeared in front of everyone with a kind smile. Meng Nan and the others have never encountered such a scene. Being welcomed by the residents of a small town, they suddenly felt a little light. However, when they saw the expressionless Xia Ping at the side, they immediately restrained themselves and became very serious. They couldn't be disrespectful in front of such a big shot and get carried away. Ahem. Meng Nan coughed and said, Mayor, you are too polite. This time, we are only here to trade for the Death Stone. I wonder where it is. Let's trade quickly, time is precious. He waved his hand and went straight to the point. Well, I was planning to hold a welcoming party. Are you guys going to trade so soon? Our town's food is excellent, and the women are even more beautiful. Don't you guys want to stay longer? Mayor Zheng Ming stroked his white beard and smiled. Meng Nan and the others' eyes lit up. Indeed, there were many gorgeously dressed women in the crowd. All of them were bashful and looked very tempting. They couldn't suppress the desire in their bodies. If they stayed in this small town for a night, they could not only enjoy delicious food, but also a night of endless pleasure. Meng Nan and the others were still hesitant. They looked at Xia Ping from time to time, because they were worried that their actions would anger Xia Ping, which would lead to an unexpected disaster. If he could easily kill more than 1,000 petrified demon snakes, then it wouldn't be difficult for him to kill them. Mayor Zheng Ming also saw the gazes of the storm caravan. He immediately knew that the real owner of this caravan was this ordinary-looking young man. He immediately stepped forward and said, Little brother. No need. We'll leave after the trade. Take out the netherstone immediately. Don't talk nonsense. Xia Ping said lightly, his tone indifferent. Mayor Zheng Ming didn't expect Xia Ping's attitude to be so bad. Instantly, he was very dissatisfied and unhappy. His face was cloudy, but he thought of something and endured it. We can trade the netherstone at any time. But if I don't entertain you guys, I'm afraid others will think that I'm a town that doesn't know how to entertain guests. This is a disgrace. Zheng Ming revealed a sorrowful look. Lord Xia, Meng Nan, and the others also seemed to be reluctant to do so. They looked at Xia Ping with a pleading look. Sigh. I didn't want to argue with you guys, but I didn't expect you to provoke me. Xia Ping sighed and stared at Mayor Zheng Ming. Stop pretending. You can't hide your evil spirit aura at all. Do you think I haven't discovered it? His eyes revealed a trace of fierceness. Lord, this old man doesn't quite understand what you mean. Mayor Zheng Ming said with a fake smile. Well, I think that if it's like this, you should understand what I mean. As soon as his voice fell, Xiaoping instantly attacked and punched the air. Boom! Mayor Zhengming's body was immediately punched. His body immediately exploded and split into pieces, turning into minced meat. Lord Xia, Meng Nan and the others were shocked. They didn't expect Xiaoping to kill the mayor without saying a word. He killed the mayor of this small town with a single punch. But what made them even more shocked was that when Mayor Zhengming died, a black shadow appeared in his place, as if it was condensed from fog. This black fog emitted evil, violent, murderous, cold, and other auras. Another aura spread out, and the ground immediately froze. The cold was bone-piercing, making people shiver. It was clearly daytime, but everyone felt as if they had fallen into an endless night, into an icy hell. Dark ghost, this is a dark ghost. The mayor has been possessed by a dark ghost. Chapter 15:13. Human, how did you discover me? My aura should have been perfectly concealed. The dark ghost floated in the air, looking at Xiaoping in confusion. It had believed that it had possessed a human, and concealed its aura flawlessly. It should have been impossible for a human to discover it. However, the human in front of it had seen through its disguise in an instant, which really puzzled it. Perfect. Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately laughed. In my eyes, the ghostly energy on your body is like the sun in the night. No matter how you hide it, you can't hide it. In front of his golden crow eye of hell, this dark ghost's little trick was completely useless. And right now, the entire town is filled with ghostly energy. You've probably killed all the humans in this town. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and looked dangerously at this group of people. No, it should be a group of dark ghosts. No way. There were 3,000 people in Danta town, but they all died? They were all killed by dark ghosts. Then what's going on with this group of people? Have they all been possessed by dark ghosts? Damn it, 3,000 ordinary people were killed by these dark ghosts just like that. Not a single one survived. Meng Nan and the others were shocked, hatred, sorrow, and other emotions appearing in the depths of their eyes. Endless rage brewed in their hearts. Although they had never met the people of this town, they were all humans. But now they had all been killed by this group of dark ghosts. The elderly, the children, and the women had not been spared. They couldn't help but feel a trace of sympathy for the loss of their own kind. They even felt a kind of heartfelt anger. They wanted nothing more than to kill all these dark ghosts and take revenge. Interesting human. As expected, you discovered us. Puny humans, they were just food. So what if they were killed? These humans are quite bold. They dared to steal the dark stones of my dark ghost race. This is a crime punishable by death. Of course, their entire clan must be executed. Jejia, but we didn't let them die so easily. We tortured these human souls for 10 days and 10 nights, bit by bit, bit by bit. Only then did they collapse and die. I reckon they also tasted what is called a life worse than death. The pain, howls, and despair of humans are truly the best food for us nether ghosts. Every time I hear these sounds of despair, my entire body feels happy and excited. The speed at which you kill people is simply too fast. In my opinion, it's best to breed them and treat them like pigs. Kill them as they grow. That's the way to sustainable development. I'm sorry, I really can't stand it anymore. When I see these cute, ignorant, and weak humans, I can't help but want to torture and kill them. I want to hear their cries of despair. Immediately, the townspeople who had lined the streets to welcome him instantly revealed their true colors. Their bodies exuded an eerie ghostly aura, instantly turning the town into a terrifying ghostly realm. They laughed cruelly, releasing a terrifying aura. The underworld ghosts hiding around the town all appeared, at least 100 of them. Meng Nan and the others were terrified. They felt like they were being stared at by a terrifying monster. A terrifying aura was coming from all directions, sealing the void. There was no way to escape. Their bodies were trembling. They had never seen so many nether ghosts in their lives. It had to be known that nether ghosts were even more terrifying than demons. They were formless and specialized in attacking the souls of humans. They could silently kill humans and destroy their souls. In fact, they could even take over human bodies and cause great chaos. However, these nether ghosts ignored Meng Nan and the others. Instead, they stared at Xiaoping, because Xia Ping was the greatest threat among these humans. As long as they got rid of this brat, the other humans were just ants that they could kill with a wave of their hands. Food? You dare to treat humans as food? You're too bold. It seems you don't know what true terror is. Xia Ping stared at these nether ghosts, his body exuding a terrifying killing intent. It's one thing for you to stay in the infernal realm, but you actually dare to come to the human realm and cause trouble? It seems you want your souls to be destroyed. Haha, this human is joking. This human wants to destroy our souls? How laughable. This is the greatest joke of the year for the nether ghost race. I can laugh for an entire year. Kiki, I can't control myself anymore. I'm going to kill him now, destroy his soul and devour his flesh. Die, human! The nether ghosts cackled. They instantly attacked, wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves as they charged at Xia Ping. A terrifying black aura surged over, instantly covering Xia Ping's body. They scrambled over each other, as if they were fighting over food, wanting to tear apart Xia Ping's soul and body. Xia Ping immediately felt a bone-chilling aura spread through his body. This aura seemed to come from the netherworld. It was so cold that even his bones were trembling. More importantly, these nether ghosts let out bewildering cries that confused his mind. It was as if they wanted his soul to fall into the boundless infernal realm, into the darkness and be devoured clean. Xia Ping had to admit that these nether ghosts were truly terrifying. If it weren't for the fact that his divine sense was extremely terrifying, far surpassing that of other martial artists of the same level, he probably wouldn't have been able to block these nether ghosts' attacks. If an ordinary martial artist encountered these nether ghosts, their souls would probably be destroyed in an instant, and their bodies would be taken over. It wasn't without reason that these nether ghosts were so arrogant. Unfortunately, they had found the wrong opponent. Dong! Xia Ping suddenly attacked, instantly grabbing a nether ghost that was trying to approach him. He grabbed it by the neck and lifted it up like he was grabbing a chicken. The nether ghost was shocked and incredulous. How is this possible? I am a nether ghost, invisible and formless. How can a puny human grab me? Just how? It struggled, but the massive power of this hand made it impossible for it to break free. Ordinary martial artists wouldn't even be able to touch its body, but this human was able to grab its body and grab its neck like he was grabbing a chicken. It was inconceivable. Boom! Xia Ping didn't waste any words with it. The golden crow of hell bloodline surged in his body. A ball of golden crow hell flames appeared in his hand and instantly covered its entire body. Ah! The nether ghost immediately let out a miserable scream, one that was even more miserable than a dying pig. This was because the power of these flames had seeped into its soul, destroying it and destroying its very foundation. It had never seen or heard of such pain before. Save me, save me, save me. Chapter 15:14. When the dark ghost died, it began to emit gray-white streams of energy. Xia Ping felt his soul-devouring ability activate, creating a whirlpool that instantly devoured the gray-white streams of energy. Next, he sensed his soul growing stronger, and his divine sense growing stronger. Even some of the hell golden crow cells in his body had been unsealed, and his strength was rising. Without a doubt, killing these dark ghosts was incredibly beneficial to him. He could devour the dissipating spiritual energy of these dead dark ghosts, and use it to strengthen his own soul. To Xia Ping, these dark ghosts were like a great tonic. When he thought of this, he looked at these dark ghosts with an even more fervent gaze, as if they were delicious food. Heavens, he killed a dark ghost with his bare hands? They couldn't fight back at all. Meng Nan and the others were dumbfounded. Xia Ping's ability to easily kill over 1,000 petrified demon snakes was already terrifying enough, but this dark ghost, which represented even greater terror, had been easily killed by this man, instantly burned to death and turned to ash. They had never heard of such a method of killing dark ghosts. If humans had such a method to deal with dark ghosts, they wouldn't need to fear these monsters. Damn, what kind of flame is this? Why can it injure us dark ghosts? The dark ghosts were shocked and fearful. They were used to being arrogant and domineering in this world. There was not much power that could harm them, but now, there was a flame that could instantly burn them to death. This power was simply astonishing. They could sense that this flame posed a great threat to them. But this was to be expected. This flame was the Hell Golden Crow's flame, born from the most fundamental energy of hell. It contained the power to destroy gods and demons. A trifling dark ghost wanted to block this flame? It was a pipe dream. Do you want to know why? Come, I'll tell you slowly. Xiaoping's eyes flashed with a cold light. He reached out with his hand, creating a terrifying whirlpool that instantly caught another dark ghost. Divine sense ropes appeared, binding its body like a seal. No, 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 save me, save me. The nether ghost let out a miserable scream, terrified beyond belief. With a boom, before the other dark ghosts could do anything, Xiaoping clenched his hand, and its body exploded. Its entire body was engulfed in flames and incinerated. Damned human, you dare kill my clansman. Kill him. Swarm him and devour his soul. Bullshit flames. Do you think these crooked paths can deal with me, dark ghost? You're dreaming. The underworld ghosts roared angrily, their anger reaching a peak. They went crazy and attacked. Terrifying underworld ghost power erupted, targeting Xiaoping's soul and trying to destroy it. In front of this kind of nether ghost power, any human would die. The Hellfire Crucible. Xiaoping sneered and formed a hand seal. The golden crow of hell bloodline within him stirred, and one hell rune after another, and hell flame surged out to form a massive furnace. This furnace gave off an ancient, primal, noble, and destructive aura. Countless scriptures of hell appeared, as if there were gods and devils chanting sutras, ancient ancestors praying, and angels singing. One infernal ghost after another was caught off guard, and were sucked into the Hellfire Crucible. It was like Sun Wukong being sucked into the 8 trigrams furnace. Not good. Quick retreat. Damn it, I've been tricked. I can't touch this furnace. AIE. Save me. Save me. The infernal ghost screamed, and the infernal ghost power they were so proud of was useless in the face of the Hellfire Crucible. Their formless bodies were incapable of escaping the confines of the Hellfire Crucible. They tried to flee, but the scriptures surrounding the crucible blocked them. It was like an enchantment had been set up to prevent any living creature from escaping. Refine. Xiaoping's hands flashed in an incantation gesture, and flames erupted out of him. Wisp after wisp of golden crow of hellfire exploded out, turning the Hellfire Crucible into a sea of flames that burned everything in its path. These nether ghosts screamed and tried to overturn mountains and seas, but when their bodies came into contact with the flames, it was like oil coming into contact with fire. They were instantly set ablaze. In the blink of an eye, the underworld ghosts were burned to death, transforming into wisps of gray energy. As for Xiaoping, he circulated his devouring power, creating a whirlpool in his brain region. He swallowed all the grayish-white air currents into his body. His soul power was also increasing at a rapid speed. As his soul power increased, the magic power in his body also increased by a large margin. Meng Nan and the others were dumbfounded. There had been more than 100 underworld ghosts, but Xiaoping had killed more than half of them. What kind of terrifying battle prowess was this? Damnation! Just what secret magic did this human use to devour our underworld ghost soul power? This human is a great enemy of the underworld ghosts. He has to be killed, or we'll be in big trouble. Retreat! Retreat immediately. Return to Mount Phaseless, and report to the Overlord. Kill this human. The remaining underworld ghosts began to retreat. They knew that they weren't a match for this human, and staying here would only lead to death. They would be killed and devoured in an instant. They made a prompt decision and split up, fleeing in all directions at an extremely fast speed. It's useless. You can't escape. Xiaoping immediately attacked, using the Great Yin Yang Tablet smashing hand. A giant hand condensed from the power of Yin and Yang appeared, crushing down from the sky. It covered the sky, covering everything within 1,000 kilometers. Chapter 15:15. Lord Xia is truly too powerful. Over 100 dark ghosts. That's enough to massacre a city, but Lord Xia has killed them all. Oh my god, am I dreaming? I remember that dark ghosts are extremely difficult to kill. They have no form and can escape at will. Even a powerful demon destroyer is no match for a dark ghost. the army of Green Sun City would probably be annihilated by 100 dark ghosts, but now Lord Xia has killed them. This isn't a dream. This is reality. Did you see Danta Town? It's gone now, shattered by Lord Xiao's palm. Heavens, just what kind of powerful figure did we encounter? The members of the Tempest caravan were all dumbfounded. They had thought that they would die after encountering 100 dark ghosts. Who would have thought that the dark ghosts would be the ones killed instead? They had lived in this world for a long time, and had never encountered something like this. They had never felt so proud before. Killing dark ghosts as easily as slaughtering chickens required terrifying martial power. They all looked at Xiaoping with awe. Whoosh! Xiaoping took a deep breath, and circulated the pure yang immortal art, to stabilize the surging magic power in his body. After killing over 100 nether ghosts and devouring their soul energy, his soul energy had become much stronger than before. He could feel his flame of the soul burning fiercely, turning into a sea that was almost tangible. It seemed to be condensing into a sun. At the same time, the mystical talismans in the depths of his violet palace were showing signs of melting. If his flame of the soul improved further, he would be able to completely melt these mystical talismans and forge them into a golden core. This wasn't too far off. As long as he killed more dark ghosts and devoured their soul energy, he would be able to reach the golden core faster. Do you know what kind of place Mount Formless is? Xiaoping turned and looked at Meng Nan and the others. He recalled the threat the dark ghosts had made before they had died. It seemed that Mount Formless was very powerful and could support the dark ghosts. Hearing this, Meng Nan and the others all turned grave. Someone cried out, "No way! These dark ghosts are from Mount Formless? Oh no, we've probably poked a hornet's nest this time. We're in big trouble." "Oh, Mount Formless, is that amazing?" Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. "Lord Xia, Mount Formless is not as simple as just being amazing. It can be said to be the strongest force within a 100,000-mile radius. It's an absolute overlord. Even Xingyang City is no match for Mount Formless." A bitter smile appeared on Meng Nan's face. "It is said that the master of the Formless Mountain is another ghost called the Formless Ghost King. It is proficient in the art of transformation. It is shapeless and invisible, and its strength is terrifying and unfathomable." However, all of them simultaneously turned to look at a man in red robes. "Lord Xia." At this moment, the red-robed man walked out and said, "I know where these nether stones came from. They came from a mountain range 100 miles from Danta Town. A nether stone mine was discovered there, and there are many nether stones inside." "How do you know?" Xiaoping asked curiously. The red-robed man sighed. "This lowly one is from Danta Town. In truth, I came to Green Sun City to make a deal with the people of Green Sun City. I acted as a contact, but I hadn't expected that these nether stones would bring disaster to the town. So many nether ghosts have arrived. This has harmed the people of the town." He clenched his fists, filled with hatred. When he saw all the people of the town die, he couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. He wanted nothing more than to kill all the nether ghosts and take his revenge. "Since that's the case, tell me where the mine is and you will be rewarded," Xiaoping said. The red-robed man shook his head. "My lord, I don't need a reward. You have personally killed the nether ghosts and taken revenge for the people of Danta Town. This is already a great kindness. What is a trifling piece of information? Moreover, since the nether ghosts have come to Danta Town, they must have discovered the nether stone mine, perhaps even occupied it. After all, they also have a great desire for nether stones." He felt that the mine was currently filled with danger. Occupied? Just slaughter them all. This is the territory of the humans. How can the nether ghosts be so impudent? All of them naturally separated to avoid being surrounded and annihilated by the enemy. A figure immediately appeared before the many dark ghosts. This person was clearly Xiaoping. Based on the red-robed man's information, he had flown to this mountain range and seen many dark ghosts gathered here. In truth, he didn't need to search for the nether stone mine. As long as he sensed the ghostly chi on these dark ghosts, he would naturally find the correct place. "Human? A puny human dares to appear before us dark ghosts?" The dark ghosts were all stunned. They had thought that the enemy who had ambushed them was a dark ghost of a different faction or a demon. However, they didn't expect that the person speaking in the dark was actually a human, and only one at that. They looked at Xiaoping, as if he was a fool. A tiny human had appeared in front of them alone. If this wasn't seeking death, what was? Could it be that this human was tired of living for too long? Kill him. A dark ghost sneered and instantly attacked. Its massive body was extremely fast, and it was like a hurricane that radiated dark ghost energy. It instantly enveloped Xiaoping's body. This power was extremely terrifying. Everything that it passed through was completely frozen. The other dark ghosts watched from the sidelines, treating this as a game. Soon, this human would be killed and eaten, becoming their snack. Dong! Just as the dark ghost approached Xiaoping, Xiaoping reached out and grabbed the ghost's body like an eagle grabbing a chick. He held it there and then. What? The dark ghost was shocked. It struggled, but the terrifying power of this hand seemed to contain scriptures that sealed its body. It couldn't break free at all. Xiaoping gently squeezed, crushing the dark ghost into a meatball the size of a meatball. With a slap, he swallowed the dark ghost. At the same time, the sun furnace in his body began to burn. The dark ghost didn't even have time to scream. In just a few breaths of time, it was turned to ash and completely absorbed. He actually ate Ghost 50. The dark ghosts were all dumbfounded. They had lived for countless years and had seen many things. It could be said that there was nothing they hadn't seen before. But they had never seen someone eat a dark ghost. This was like a rabbit that stopped eating grass and switched to eating lions. It was just too absurd. They couldn't accept the fact that they had gone from being the predator to being the prey. This human is too strange. We have to capture him and see just what kind of background he has. Capture him. Immediately capture this human. Kill Ghost 50. We can't let him go. I have a premonition that this human is definitely a great enemy of my dark ghost race. We have to kill him immediately to get rid of any future troubles. The dark ghosts surged with killing intent. They no longer dared to be careless. This human had instantly killed Ghost 50 and eaten him. Very quickly, he discovered that there was a piece of flat land nearby. There were nether stones that were as tall as a small mountain. They emitted a dense and mysterious hell energy. Originally, they had intended to transport these nether stones back to Mount Formless. However, who would have thought that they would be completely annihilated before they could even move? Even the nether stones that they had excavated had fallen into the hands of others. Whoosh! Xiaoping waved his hand, and immediately collected the underworld stones, and put them into the Mountain River Pearls space. He also dug out the rest of the underworld stones, leaving nothing behind. He carefully searched the surroundings, but didn't find any treasures, so he left the mountain range, because he planned to return to Green Sun City with Meng Nan and the others. After all, he was very curious about the secrets of this secret realm. But an hour after Xiaoping left, a weak nether ghost stealthily appeared from deep underground. Its expression was extremely gloomy, as if it had just survived a disaster. Damn it, just where did this human come from? Why does he have such shocking power to be able to easily kill nether ghosts? The nether ghost was truly shocked. Just now, it had been mining in the depths of the mine. Because it was weak, it had been ignored by the other nether ghosts and treated as a laborer. Unexpectedly, it had been able to avoid this disaster precisely because it was weak. It had hidden itself deep underground, doing its best to hide its aura, and not being discovered by Xiaoping. No, this kind of human is too dangerous. I have to return to Mount Formless and report this matter to the Lord. This human cannot continue to live, or the nether ghost race will suffer. Thinking of that, the nether ghost made a prompt decision. Without another word, it immediately returned to Mount Formless and reported this matter. Whoosh! Several hours later, the nether ghost returned to Mount Formless and immediately went to Mount Formless headquarters. This was a palace, the noble palace where the Ghost King lived. Many powerful nether ghosts had appeared here. At this moment, a nether ghost the size of a small mountain was sitting on a throne. It wore a white fox mask and exuded a terrifying ghostly aura that had condensed into corporeal form. Boundless baleful energy swirled around the palace. It was the ruler of Mount Formless, the Formless Ghost King. Ghost 3000. The Formless Ghost King looked at the nether ghost that had returned and said in a low muffled voice, "Didn't this king order you to excavate the newly discovered netherstone mine? Why have you returned so early? Have you already completed the mission? What about the nether stones? Where are the nether stones? Don't tell me you filled your pockets?" Reporting to the Lord, something big has happened. Something really big has happened this time. The nether ghost cried out in terror. A human suddenly launched a sneak attack on the netherstone mine. That bastard went on a killing spree and slaughtered over 100 nether ghosts, leaving not a single one alive. This lowly one was only able to return because I was lucky. Otherwise, King would probably never have seen me again. It described what had happened in the mine. Not only had all the nether ghosts been killed, but even the nether stones had been stolen by that hateful human. Not even a single fragment had been left. It was the kind of thing where a goose had plucked its feathers. "What did you say?" The Formless Ghost King roared angrily. "Over 100 nether ghosts were slaughtered by a mere human? Even if you're lying, there should be a limit. What kind of human has the power to kill us nether ghosts as easily as killing chickens?" It did not believe Ghost 3000's words. "Lord, every word that I, Ghost 3000, speak is the truth. If there is even half a lie, may the heavens strike me with 5 bolts of lightning." Ghost 3000 immediately swore an oath, expressing that what he said was absolutely true. That human was able to easily kill the nether ghosts because he controlled the power of hell's flames. Because of the hell's flames, the nether ghosts were unable to resist and were burned to death. It continued to speak the truth it had seen. Hell's flames. The nether ghosts in the hall were all panicking, their eyes filled with wariness. This was an ancient power of hell that specialized in restraining nether ghosts. Just how did a human control the power of hell's flames? He definitely has some great secret on him. Investigate, immediately investigate. I want to know all of his secrets. The Formless Ghost King roared angrily, giving the order for the nether ghosts to move out. Although it was angry, it was not stupid. On the contrary, it was very smart. As the saying went, know yourself and know your enemy, and you will emerge victorious in every battle. When faced with this mysterious human, any rash actions were foolish. Chapter 1518. Qingyang City. Several days later, under the lead of Meng Nan and the others, after a long journey through grasslands, mountains, deserts, and other places, Xiaoping finally arrived at the only human city within 1,000 miles. "This is Qingyang City." Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, looking at the so-called human super city, but it was very shabby. The city walls were towering, hundreds of meters tall, and looked very imposing. Unfortunately, the city walls seemed to be full of holes, as if they had been damaged by countless demons and were in imminent danger. Then they were repaired by humans. He could feel the ancient and tragic aura of war coming from the city walls. Who knew how many times the city had resisted the invasion of demons and dark ghosts? At the city gates, many people were entering and leaving Qingyang City. He could also feel the decline of the city. Most of the people who entered Qingyang City were emaciated, and businesses had withered. It was like a city in an apocalyptic world. Everyone was like the Walking Dead. Stop. At this time, Xia Ping and the others wanted to enter Qingyang City, but they were stopped by a group of city guards. "You must be the storm caravan. Who is in charge?" A captain of the city guards walked out, staring at the storm caravan. "I am." Meng Nan raised his hand, indicating that he was in charge of the caravan. "I heard that you went to Dongta town to trade for the dark stones. Now that you have returned safely, I believe you have obtained the dark stones. How is it?" The captain showed a greedy look. The storm caravan and the others' hearts tightened. Seeing the captain's expression, they knew that they had been targeted and might be extorted. Moreover, they knew the captain. His name was Gao Ding. It was said that he was related to the city lord of Qingyang City. His power was complicated, and he had astonishing power. They could not afford to offend him. Gao Ding was greedy by nature. If they were targeted by him, they would probably be skinned alive. Meng Nan was half dead with anger. He did not know who had leaked the news that he had gone to Dongta town to trade. Now that they were targeted by the city guards, How could they have an easy time? The other party wouldn't give up until he was thoroughly searched. After all, no one in Qingyang City knew how difficult it was to deal with a small fry. This was especially true for the city guards who held power. They were the nightmare of countless merchant groups. 40 to 50% of their profits would be snatched away, resulting in heavy losses. Captain Gao Ding, I did go to Danta village, but I didn't get any underworld stones. On the way, we encountered dark ghosts and ran back. I don't have a single cent on me. Meng Nan complained that he was poor, but in fact it was true. All the dark stones were with Xia Ping, and they had no chance to get the dark stones. This transaction was a failure. Chapter 15:19. Trouble. Someone's causing trouble. Gao Ding covered his swollen mouth in shock and anger. He scrambled away and gave an order to the surrounding soldiers, shouting, "Go! Capture this troublemaker! Capture him immediately and torture him!" His voice was like a thunderclap. One could imagine how angry he was at this moment. He had never experienced such a humiliating thing before. Now, he wanted nothing more than to capture this brat and beat him half to death. You dare to cause trouble in Qingyang City? You must be tired of living. Brat, I advise you to surrender immediately. Otherwise you'll suffer later. Let's go together and capture this troublemaker. Hearing Gao Ding's order, the soldiers immediately moved. Although they were corrupt and extremely depraved, they were still soldiers who had fought against demons and dark ghosts. They were well trained. Once the order was given, they immediately moved. They raised their spears and other weapons and surrounded Xia Ping. It's over now. Meng Nan and the others' faces were ashen. They were naturally not worried about Xia Ping's safety, but about the soldiers. After all, Xia Ping was someone who could easily slaughter over 100 dark ghosts. Weren't these soldiers just throwing their lives away? If they offended this lord, who knew how many people would die in Qingyang City? But they were only minor characters. How could they resist these ferocious soldiers? Even if they warned Xia Ping that he was a terrifying figure, the soldiers would probably treat it as a joke. Looks like this brat is finished. He actually dared to offend the city guards. He really doesn't know what's good for him. If you want to live in Qingyang City, you can't afford to offend these soldiers. It's easy to meet the king of hell, but it's hard to deal with a small demon. He's probably a newcomer who just came to Qingyang City. He doesn't know the dangers of the world. The surrounding people also saw this scene. They all shook their heads and sighed. They thought that Xia Ping would not live for long after offending these soldiers. After all, there was no way he would have a good life after offending the local tyrant of Qingyang City. At this moment, these soldiers came up from the city gate and naturally spread out, surrounding Xia Ping. They looked ferocious, and the air was filled with the shadows of swords and blades. Brat, you dare to offend me, Gao Ding? I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death. No one can oppose me in Qingyang City. Gao Ding sneered, as if he could already see Xia Ping being captured and tortured. Did I allow you to move? An ant dares to act in front of me? Kneel. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back as he calmly looked at the soldiers. A terrifying gravitational force exploded out from his body, causing the surrounding kilometers to become boundless. It was as if mountains were crushing down. Bang, bang, bang. Before the soldiers could even reach Xia Ping, they were already in a state of panic. They could feel a boundless gravitational force being exerted on their bodies. It was as if there was a mountain on their shoulders, and even the air was distorted. With a slap, all of them knelt on the ground. Some even knelt on the cement floor. In an instant, the ground was crushed, and their bones were shattered. The weapons in their hands also fell to the ground as they let out miserable screams. The most miserable one was Gao Ding. He was simply too close to Xia Ping, and he was instantly pressed to the ground by the terrifying gravitational force. The ground collapsed, and a human-shaped pit appeared. He wanted to struggle with all his might, but it was impossible. It was like Sun Wukong being suppressed by the Five-Finger Mountain. Even if he wanted to use any strength, it was impossible. Even facing this terrifying pressure, his bones were cracking, as if they would be crushed into pieces in the next second. Gao Ding's heart was filled with endless fear and panic. It was as if he could feel the god of death coming to reap his life. At this moment, He was extremely regretful. If he had known that this person was so powerful, he would not have dared to offend him even if he was beaten to death. Oh my God! The surrounding people were dumbfounded. They felt like they were dreaming. Thousands of elite soldiers wanted to kill this guy, but before they could even take a few steps, they were pressed to the ground. What kind of terrifying strength was this? No matter how stupid they were, they knew that this group of soldiers had offended an extremely powerful person. They had kicked an iron plate. Stop! Who dares to cause trouble in Qingyang City? Do you want to be the enemy of Qingyang City? At this moment, a loud shout came from the depths of the city, causing the ground to crack. A figure immediately flew out from the city and arrived at the city gate. Xiaoping looked up and immediately saw a middle-aged man in black armor, flying over from afar with a black broadsword in his hand. His body emitted a mountain-like aura. When he walked over, it was as if the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. It was unparalleled. This was at least a warrior at the pinnacle of true fire realm. He was far stronger than these elite soldiers. Commander Che Xiu Army, Commander Che has actually appeared. Someone immediately recognized the middle-aged man's identity. Meng Nan and the rest were shocked too. They knew that this middle-aged man was the commander of Qingyang City. He was in charge of the 3 armies and was the second most powerful person after the governor of Qingyang City. They did not expect that this matter would cause Commander Che to appear in person. If this matter continued, it would probably get out of hand. However, it was not their turn to speak now. Commander Che. The soldiers were overjoyed. They believed that as long as Commander Che took action, this arrogant man would definitely be captured, and they would be rescued. Who are you? Why did you come to cause trouble in Qingyang City? Che Xiu Army stood in front of the city gate and looked at Xiaoping cautiously. However, he did not dare to step into Xiaoping's gravitational field. He could feel the powerful aura from this unfamiliar man in front of him. It was frightening. Even an ordinary demon could not compare to him. If such a person caused trouble in Qingyang City, it would probably cause great losses to Qingyang City. As the commander of Qingyang City, he had to consider many things. However, he soon noticed Gao Ding, who was lying at Xiaoping's feet. He immediately exclaimed, "Gao Ding, why are you here? Let go of Gao Ding immediately, and I will spare your life." If it was an ordinary conflict, he might not be so anxious. The problem was that Gao Ding's identity was extraordinary. He was the nephew of the governor of Qingyang City. If anything happened to Gao Ding here, the governor would probably be furious. By then there would be many more unlucky people. He immediately glared at Xiaoping and emitted a terrifying murderous aura. "Let go! Who do you think you are? What right do you have to talk to me? Come and accompany him." Xiaoping looked at Che Xiu Army indifferently. He instantly made a grabbing motion. Immediately, a giant hand containing the power of yin and yang appeared. It descended from the sky and covered 100 miles. It was as though the energy of heaven and earth within 100 miles was grasped by this giant hand. What? This was the city governor of Green Sun City, Gao Ansheng, and he was the true overlord of this city. Xiaoping could sense that the old man's aura was extraordinary. He was probably the strongest expert in the entire city, at least at the early stage Golden Core realm. "Oh, who are you?" Xiaoping calmly looked at the white-robed elder. "This old man is the city lord of Qingyang City. My name is Gao Ansheng." The white-robed elder smiled slightly. "I already know the gist of the matter. It's all our fault. To think that some corrupt and shameless people actually appeared in the city guards. And they even dared to extort in public. This is a disgrace to our Qingyang City. Please don't worry. I will definitely punish such black sheep and the cancerous tumor of the city guards. I will definitely not forgive them and give you a satisfactory explanation." He indicated that he had already understood the entire truth of the matter in a short period of time and pushed all the blame onto Gao Ding, hoping to appease Xiaoping's anger. Is this enough to punish some corrupt people? Xiaoping did not want to let this group of people off so easily. Of course it's not enough, but this is not the place to talk. Why don't you come to my city lord mansion and have a detailed discussion? What do you think? The white-robed elder, Gao Ansheng, invited. Xiaoping thought about it. He had come to Qingyang City to understand the mysteries and truth of this world. So there was no need to fall out with Qingyang City. This was just a small matter. Moreover, perhaps he could take advantage of this opportunity to extort them to tell him the information he knew. Alright, I hope you don't play any tricks. Otherwise, don't blame me for flipping out. Xiaoping said lightly. The white-robed elder, Gao Ansheng, was immediately overjoyed. He knew that Xiaoping's tone had softened. This matter was almost settled, and there would not be a life-and-death conflict. That's a matter of course. Young friend, this way please. The white-robed elder, Gao Ansheng, immediately invited Xiaoping into the city lord mansion. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiaoping followed the city lord, Gao Ansheng, into Qingyang City. The other Qingyang City elders also followed him back. Che Xiujuan was carried away for treatment. As for Gao Ding and the other instigators, they were arrested and imprisoned. What awaited them was severe punishment. Many Qingyang City residents immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the city lord did not have a conflict with this terrifying expert. Otherwise, who knew how many people would have died, and how many innocent people would have been affected? Seeing Xiaoping leave, Meng Nan and the others also felt lost. They knew that if they did not do anything this time, it would be extremely unlikely for them to meet such an expert again in the future. Chapter 1521. To be able to travel around the world, how amazing! Little friend must be very knowledgeable, and have seen many things. City Lord Gao Ansheng's eyes flashed as he continued to probe. I have indeed seen many things, but that is not the main point of our conversation, Xiaoping said indifferently. Xiaoping said indifferently, I'll tell you the truth. I only came to Green Sun City for one thing. I want to know how those nether ghosts and demons appeared. He went straight to the point and set his main goal. You are someone who has traveled around the world. Could it be that you still don't know how those dark ghosts and demons appeared? Aren't you too ignorant? A general sneered. He was very suspicious of Xiaoping's identity and goal. In particular, he had injured Che Xiujuan, which made him feel even more dissatisfied. Did I give you permission to speak? Xiaoping narrowed his eyes, and his body gave off a terrifying aura. It was like a star that crushed down on this general. Immediately, this general felt a tyrannical power pressing down on him, causing all the bones in his body to tremble. Sweat poured down like rain, and it was as if he would suffocate to death in the next second. This was a mighty power that he could not resist. With a paw, the wooden chair he was sitting on immediately shattered, and his entire body collapsed onto the ground. Blood flowed out of his nose, mouth, eyes, ears, and other places. It was a terrifying scene. Little friend, please stay your hand. Seeing this, City Lord Gao Ansheng hurriedly tried to dissuade him. It is indeed our people who do not understand the rules. They actually dare to speak nonsense here. I hope you can spare their lives. If they don't understand the rules, they have to be taught. Otherwise, they will be like hooligans in the countryside all day, arrogant and despotic. They won't even know when they will die, Xiaoping said indifferently. Xiaoping said indifferently. He retracted his aura and revealed a condescending look. Although I'm still young, I know what etiquette is, and what it means not to interrupt when others are talking. I also respect the elderly, but that doesn't mean you can take advantage of your seniority. You've lived for so long, but you still don't understand anything. You still need others to teach you this bit of etiquette. That's not right, understand? After withdrawing his aura, the general gasped for breath, as if he had just been rescued from drowning. His sweat was like rain, and he felt as if he had walked a circle in Yama's palace. He felt as if he had just survived a disaster. He looked at Xiaoping with incomparable fear. He could feel that Xiaoping was as powerful as a god, an existence that he could not match. What? Hearing Xiaoping lecturing the younger generation like an elder, everyone present was so angry that their noses became crooked. They were all older than the brat in front of them, and he actually dared to lecture them in front of their faces, saying that they didn't know the rules. How arrogant did this bastard want to be before he would let it go? He was too presumptuous. On the spot, they wanted to fly into a rage and teach this kid a lesson. They wanted to let this fellow know that Qingyang City wasn't a place to be trifled with. But before they could do anything, they were stopped by the city governor, Gao Ansheng, who told them not to act rashly. In the face of the city lord's orders, no matter how angry they were, they could only endure it. Of course, my subordinates really don't know the rules. I will teach them well in the future. Right, didn't you want to know where dark ghosts came from? This is a small matter. I can tell you everything I know. City Lord Gao Ansheng calmly changed the topic and talked about the thing that Xia Ping was most concerned about. After giving these people a show of strength, the higher-ups of Qingyang City didn't dare to say anything. All of them sat quietly at the side. Xia Ping naturally couldn't be bothered with these people. He listened to the information he wanted to know. According to City Lord Gao Ansheng, those dark ghosts and demons seemed to have suddenly appeared 10,000 years ago. At that time, a black hole appeared in the sky, connecting to the depths of an alternate dimension. As a result, those dark ghosts and demons ran out of the black hole. In the beginning, the black hole wasn't very large, and the strength of the dark ghosts and demons that ran out of the black hole was only so. At that time, the humans were barely able to resist them, but as the black hole grew larger, the dark ghosts and demons that could run out of the black hole became more and more terrifying. The human forces were forced to retreat, and they were on the verge of extinction. Now the human forces were in despair. They couldn't see any hope of victory. If the black hole continued to expand, even more terrifying monsters would run out, and they would die without a doubt. Where are those black holes? Xia Ping asked. There are a total of 9 such black holes, scattered all over the world. City Lord Gao Ansheng said solemnly. City Lord Gao Ansheng said in a deep voice. The closest black hole to here is in the Formless Mountain, which is occupied by the Formless Ghostly King. Formless Ghost King. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. It seemed like to obtain the passageway to hell, he had to first destroy the Formless Ghost King. However, the Formless Ghost King's strength wasn't simple either. He was probably at the Returning Truth realm, which was a realm stronger than the Golden Core realm. He far surpassed everyone in Qingyang City. It could be said that the human forces in a radius of hundreds of thousands of kilometers had submitted to the terrifying rule of the Formless Ghost King. The so-called Returning Truth realm was the realm of returning to one's natural state. Warriors were already approaching the transformation realm. If Golden Core realm warriors were existences that condensed their martial Tao divine powers into a Golden Core, then the Returning Truth realm was a step further. From the Golden Core, one's soul would undergo earth-shattering changes, allowing one to condense an essence soul. Therefore, some people said that the Returning Truth realm was actually the essence soul realm. Once one condensed an essence soul, they would truly possess the ability to survive in outer space. Even without sunlight, water, or food, they could traverse the universe and roam the void. At such a realm, one could be called a mighty figure. Ordinary sect masters of small sects only had this kind of strength. It could be said that cultivators at the Returning Truth realm were much stronger than those at the Golden Core realm. It was likely that even if all the experts of Qingyang City banded together, they wouldn't be a match for the Formless Ghost King. Furthermore, the Dark Ghost was formless and formless. Ordinary attacks were completely useless against it. This made them feel even more despair. Xia Ping continued to ask. He wanted to know what methods the humans of this world used to deal with the dark ghosts and demons. Even though the humans were currently weaker, they had once held the upper hand, forcing the dark ghosts to retreat again and again. City Lord Gao Ansheng didn't hide anything. They cultivated dark force and used dark force to cultivate. If they wanted to kill the dark ghosts, they could only succeed if they had the same power. Dark force? Interesting. Can I take a look at these cultivation methods? Xia Ping went straight to the point. He was very curious about the cultivation methods that used dark force. Perhaps he could learn something by analogy. Viewing the cultivation methods of others was a great taboo. But City Lord Gao Ansheng didn't hesitate and immediately agreed. Of course, if young friend Xia can benefit greatly, it will be the honor of my Qingyang City. It just so happens that there's a scripture pavilion in the back mountain of my city lord's mansion. It has all the cultivation methods of my Qingyang City. If you don't mind, I can send someone to take you there. But now that the city lord had made such a solemn vow, and the fate of Che Xiujuan and the others was in front of them, even if the other party did not have the strength to kill over 100 nether ghosts, he still had the strength to kill a dozen or so. If such a person really caused a ruckus, it would not be something that could be resolved with just a few deaths. But City Lord, that kid's background is really strange. A white-haired elder suddenly said. He actually doesn't know the origins of the dark ghosts, nor does he know the specific situation of this world. He hasn't even cultivated dark energy. So just how did he obtain such powerful combat power? He voiced out his doubts. Oh, Elder Tang, what's your guess? City Lord Gao Anqing's eyes flashed. He could tell that this white-haired elder seemed to have noticed something. This white-haired elder was the Vice City Lord of Green Sun City. He was also a strategist. His name was Tang Yu, and many of the decisions of Green Sun City had been made by him. He could be said to be the #1 person under the City Lord, possessing great authority. If my guess is correct, that kid might not even be a person of our world, but a visitor from another world, Elder Tang Yu said decisively. These words immediately shocked everyone, their hearts rippling with shock. That's impossible. Besides our world, are there other worlds with humans? Many of the elders couldn't help but swallow their mouths dry. What's impossible about it? Elder Tang Yu sneered. The Yama and dark ghosts both came from another world. Do you think that there are no other human worlds? The world is vast, and there are all sorts of strange things. Now that you think about it, that kid's every action is completely out of step with the people of this world. Whether it's his way of speaking, his identity, his clothes, his behavior, his manner of speech, his temperament, and his demeanor. The most important evidence is that he doesn't cultivate nether energy, but some other kind of energy. This proves that his origins are extraordinary, and it's much more likely that he comes from another world. He was extremely confident in his judgment. In this world, nether energy was the foundation. There were no other cultivation methods. Perhaps there were 10,000 years ago, but after the appearance of the dark ghosts, those cultivation methods had been abandoned. Without nether energy to attack, humans would undoubtedly die against dark ghosts. It can't be. If he really is a human from another world, he should be careful. How could he be so bold and arrogant? Isn't he afraid of exposing his identity? Someone questioned. Why is he afraid of exposing his identity? That's a question only the weak need to consider. True experts have absolute strength. So what if their identity is exposed? Are they afraid of ants coming to deal with them? Tang Yu spread his hands. Everyone felt extremely sullen. According to Tang Yu's words, they were just ants that others looked down on. Even if they coveted them, they couldn't do anything to them. If this was true, then this bastard was looking down on them too much. But they still didn't quite believe it. This kind of speculation was far too shocking. The idea of another human world was completely beyond their imagination. After all, the majority of people lived their entire lives within a range of tens of thousands of miles. They had never left any place beyond this range, much less another world. This kind of speculation was far too bold and unimaginable. If there was evidence, then it would be fine. But there was no evidence. Just based on speculation, they found it hard to accept. Forget it. Whether or not Elder Tang's speculation is true, whether or not that boy is a visitor from another world, he's definitely a human. He won't eat humans like the dark ghosts and Yama do. This kind of human expert is beneficial to us. If the dark ghosts and Yama appear, perhaps he will be able to lend us a hand. City Lord Gao Anqing said indifferently. Yes, City Lord. The elders were very unwilling, but they could only think this way. All the elders were extremely indignant, but that was the only way they could think right now. An hour later, the elders of Green Sun City retreated. City Lord Gao Anqing stood up, a cold light in his eyes. He no longer had the demeanor of a nice old man. He walked to a guest hall in the back. At this moment, several elders of Green Sun City had appeared in this hall. Their bodies exuded an eerie ghostly aura that caused others to shiver. Even Gao Anqing exuded a terrifying nether energy. Chapter 1523. What do you think of that human Elder Tang's words? City Lord Gao Anqing asked indifferently. His eyes glowed with green light, as if a ghostly fire was brewing in the depths of his pupils. If the humans of Green Sun City saw City Lord Gao Anqing's aura, they would definitely be scared half to death. He should have been the protector of humanity, the ruler of Green Sun City. But now, he had unknowingly been possessed by a dark ghost and turned into a dark ghost puppet. If news of this spread, it would definitely shake the heavens and earth. If even the human headquarters had been invaded by dark ghosts, where else in the world would be safe? And it seemed that it wasn't just the city lord who had been possessed by a dark ghost. Many of the elders had also become food for them. It could be said that all of Green Sun City had been riddled with holes and had unknowingly fallen into the hands of dark ghosts. It's possible. A dark ghost nodded. According to Master's information, the reason he was able to kill dark ghosts is because he controls hellfire, which can harm the essence of our dark ghost souls. This kind of power is not something the humans of this world can control. In other words, he must have come from another human world. That human elder's guess is 70 to 80% likely. From all the signs, it had to admit that Elder Tang's guess was very likely. If that's the case, then this human cannot be allowed to live. A cold light appeared in Gao Anqing's eyes. If he opens a path to another human world and leads a large army of human reinforcements to this world, then wouldn't our dark ghosts be in grave danger? And who knows how strong that human world is? If everyone is as powerful as this Xia Ping, then our dark ghosts will probably be driven back to the infernal realm. That cannot happen. He clenched his fists, his voice resolute. Don't worry, Master has already given the order to kill. This human must die. But this human is very powerful, able to kill over 100 dark ghosts. He won't be easy to deal with. That's right. If we attack, not only will we not be able to kill him, we might even be killed instead. That's not a problem. The reason I agreed to that human's request and tolerated everything was to numb his mind, to make him think that I am a weak and easily bullied person, to make him lower his guard. After a few days, when his wariness is completely gone, I'll deliberately arrange a banquet and poison the food. Then, I'll be able to silently poison him to death and completely eliminate him. Not a bad plan. That human will definitely die. However, what I fear the most is that the human will notice that the food is poisonous. If he discovers it in advance, then he will fail on the verge of success. I'm afraid that he will be unhappy. That's not a problem. I've already made preparations for both sides. It was precisely because humans had short lifespans that they had never produced a top expert. At most, they could reach the Golden Core realm. As for experts above the Returning Truth realm, they were basically legends. Although this world's cultivation techniques were very backward, after tens of thousands of years, they had still produced many powerful martial arts divine powers that used nether energy. Xia Ping was very interested in two of these divine powers. One of them was called Nether Ghost Hand. This divine power was very powerful. It was a divine power that an expert had created after observing a dark ghost. By circulating nether energy, one could condense a nether ghost hand and use it to pay the enemy back. Once this divine power was used, it could immediately injure a dark ghost. It even had a powerful effect on humans. The body would be fine with a single palm strike, but the soul would be damaged. If the soul was not strong enough, it would immediately dissipate. It could be said that this was an extremely terrifying divine power. It could ignore defenses and directly attack the soul. It was a bit similar to the dark ghost's ability. The other divine power was the soul binding chains. This divine power was not a killing divine power, but a support divine power. It used nether energy to condense into chains that could bind a living being's soul. If this divine power struck an enemy, it would follow them like a shadow and lock onto their soul. Even if they were tens of thousands of miles away, they would still be tracked. Moreover, this divine power had a powerful restraining effect on all sorts of strange races in the universe that had the ability to travel through space. Once bound by the soul-binding chains, it would be like encountering a soul reaper. There would be nowhere to run, and they would be completely sealed. The two held divine powers, one for killing and one for support, complemented each other. After obtaining these two divine powers, Xiaoping acted as if he had obtained supreme treasures. He constantly cultivated them, losing track of time. Perhaps it was because he had the Hell Golden Crow bloodline. But he was extremely familiar with these two divine powers. He learned them almost without spending much time. Chapter 1524. Green Sun City, a certain residence. Xiaoping was called out of the scripture pavilion by a soldier. He said that he had something to discuss with him. But it was an important matter, and could not be known by anyone. It could not be done in the city lord's mansion, so he had to go somewhere else to chat. He was skilled and bold, so he didn't worry about traps. He went straight to the appointment and entered the house. As soon as he entered, he saw some people appear in the residence. Among them was Vice City Lord Tang Yu, and even the commander of the 3 armies of Green Sun City, Che Xiujuan. Many of the upper echelons of Green Sun City had appeared, but the city lord was not here. I didn't think that so many upper echelons of Green Sun City would come here. Is there something that cannot be discussed in the city lord's mansion? Xiaoping looked at this group of people. This matter is very important. It cannot be discussed in the city lord's mansion. Vice City Lord Tang Yu stepped forward and sighed. You might not believe it, but the entire city lord's mansion has been infiltrated by dark ghosts. Their comrades are everywhere, and Green Sun City is under their surveillance. Even the city lord has become a dark ghost. He clenched his fists, his expression one of grief. I didn't think that you would know that the city lord has been possessed by dark ghosts. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Do you know as well? Everyone was stunned. They hadn't thought that Xiaoping would be able to see through it. Of course I know. The ghostly qi on their bodies is as dazzling as the sun. It would be strange if I didn't see it. But I have something I want to know, so I don't want to expose them for now, Xiaoping said indifferently. He knew from the start that the city lord and many of the elders had been possessed by dark ghosts. All of Green Sun City was filled with ghostly qi, as if it had become a ghost realm. But he did not act rashly, choosing to wait and see. After all, he had only just arrived, and did not understand the situation. As expected of an expert who could kill over 100 dark ghosts. Your observation skills are truly impressive, Tang Yu praised. Xiaoping waved his hand. There's no need for praise. Since you know that the city lord and the others have been possessed by dark ghosts, why haven't you taken action and exterminated these dark ghosts? If we could exterminate them, we naturally would, Che Xiujuan said helplessly. Che Xiujuan helplessly said. But by the time we learned of this matter, it was already too late. The city lord and dozens of elders had already been killed and possessed by dark ghosts. Even quite a few of the soldiers' bodies had been taken over by dark ghosts. If we alert them, these dark ghosts will definitely start a massacre. At that time, all the humans in Green Sun City will be exterminated, and we won't dare to act rashly. He felt extremely helpless. He had always thought that he was smarter than the others, and had a sense of superiority. However, he had not expected to be fooled by someone who had seen through his scheme. He could not tolerate such humiliation. His face twisted, turning green and purple. So what if you saw through it? In the past few days in the city lord residence, you ate the food we sent every day. It contains slow-acting poison. After eating so much, I'm afraid the poison has already attacked your heart. How much strength do you have left? City Lord Gao Anqing sneered. I'm afraid that even a 7-year-old child with a dagger can kill you now. I won't waste any more time with you. Commander Che, go and cut off his head. He immediately gave the order, no longer wanting to waste any more time with Xiaoping. Whoosh! In an instant, Commander Che and the other generals of Qingyang City attacked. They were vicious and vicious. Strong dark energy exploded from their bodies, and they moved like ghosts. These generals were all at the pinnacle of the true fire realm. They were just a step away from the golden core realm. They were extremely strong. Martial path mystique. Underworld heart destruction palm. In the air, countless black palm prints appeared. Each palm print was covered in dark runes, as if there were countless evil spirits surrounding them. They gave off a hellish aura. The ground was also covered in dark energy. An icy aura gushed out and the ground froze. It was as if ghosts had come out of seclusion. Chapter 1526. Dark North Protection Technique. Xiaoping stood on the spot and immediately used his protection technique. Layer after layer of energy shields appeared on his body. There were a total of 108 layers. Countless Kuan Peng runes appeared, like little Kuan Pengs wandering around the energy shields. These energy shields were extremely gentle like a blue ocean, extremely keen and soft. Bang bang bang. At this moment, the attacks of Commander Che and the others arrived in an instant. Countless underworld ghost palms slapped on the energy shields, causing an earth-shattering sound like meteorites hitting each other. What was more terrifying was that these underworld ghost palms seeped out wisps of Yin power and kept penetrating the energy shields. It was as if they wanted to invade Xiaoping's lungs and completely shatter them. Unfortunately, this power was still too weak. It could only destroy a dozen layers of energy shields and could no longer move forward. Most of the power was absorbed or transferred. How is this possible? It's useless. What kind of protection technique is this? Che Xiujuan and the others couldn't believe their eyes. The dozen of them attacked with all their strength like mad dogs. Even a golden elixir realm cultivator had to retreat. But now their power couldn't even shake the opponent's energy shields. They couldn't accept this fact. Even when facing the giant nether ghost demon, they weren't so powerless. At this moment, they felt a trace of regret. They seemed to have offended a terrifying big shot. Che Xiujuan, I spared your dog life just now, but you still dare to act so atrociously. Today, your life ends here. With a swoosh, Xiaoping rushed forward and punched out with his fist, causing an explosion. So fast. Che Xiujuan was shocked. His eyes were filled with endless fear. Even with his dynamic vision at the peak of true fire realm, he could only see a beam of light. He couldn't even see a shadow. He wanted to dodge, but it was too late. Before he could move, his body was instantly hit by Xiaoping's bullet-like fist. The entire air exploded, stirring up the wind and clouds. With a dong sound, his entire body exploded, breaking apart into pieces. He clearly wouldn't be able to survive. Commander Che, a general shouted. His eyes were wide open. Bastard, how dare you kill Commander Che? I'll take your life. He was so angry that his body was trembling, and his eyes were filled with extreme hatred. Noisy. Xiaoping instantly closed in and punched out. With a boom, that person's body immediately exploded and turned into a pile of meat paste. His killing intent towards this general of Qingyang City did not waver at all. They had all become traitors and caused the deaths of countless ordinary people. Their crimes were monstrous, and such scum deserved to die. Not good. Seeing that the two of them had been instantly killed, the remaining people fled in fright. They no longer had the courage to fight Xiaoping. Black Vortex Ripple Fist. Xiaoping's speed was unbelievably fast. Countless afterimages appeared as he used his martial arts. Immediately, he flew out like countless black flood dragons, tearing through the void. The air turned into ripples, like a stone stirring the surface of a lake. Boom! All of the generals remained where they were, not even taking a single step away from this shocking impact. From the inside out, their bodies shattered just like that. Blood flowed everywhere, and they all died. Before they died, they never thought that they would be killed just like that. They were instantly killed by the fist energy. This human does have some ability. No wonder he killed over 100 nether ghosts. He is a great enemy of my nether ghost race. This human must die, or he will definitely become a great disaster. The nether ghosts at the side had solemn expressions. They could tell that Xiaoping's strength was extraordinary. Ordinary nether ghosts were no match for him at all. Kill. At this moment, Gao Anqing and the others seized the opportunity. While Xiaoping's dermic powers had not recovered to their peak, they immediately attacked. Martial arts, Nether Ghost Giant Wheel. The group of Qingyang City elders immediately formed a heaven and earth formation. The nether power in their bodies surged out like a great river, forming countless array patterns. In the void, a huge black wheel immediately appeared. It was engraved with dense nether ghost scriptures. It spun continuously, emitting an ancient, terrifying, dark and other hellish aura. Vaguely, This huge black will seemed to be connected to the netherworld. Countless evil ghosts crawled out from the depths of the wheel, and the roars of evil ghosts reverberated in the depths of the void, sending chills down one's spine. This black will descended from the sky, crushing down, wanting to suppress everything. This power was extremely terrifying, as though it could crush the world. Its power was so strong that even golden cores did not dare to take it head-on. Go to hell. Gao Anqing's expression was ferocious like an evil ghost, and a terrifying nether ghost aura surged out from his body. Martial arts, sun god fist. Without even looking at it, Xia Ping took a step forth and twisted his body. Boundless power of flames surged out from his body, and every single one of his meridians seemed to be flowing like lava. His entire body turned into a heaven and earth formation that devoured the power of flames of the heaven and earth. The flames gathered rapidly, and one after another, flame runes were formed. A scarlet sun was formed, spinning slowly and shining brightly through the void. Boom! The black will was struck by the sun immediately. Instantly, the black will shattered into pieces. In fact, the flames that erupted from the sun burned everywhere. Initially, this was the power of nether ghosts that was formed from the nether power. However, when it met its nemesis, it ignited like oil and turned into a sea of flames. Within the depths of the wheel, a series of horrifying vengeful spirits were howling and letting out tragic cries. However, it did not take long before those cries disappeared. The vengeful spirits were purified completely and turned into ashes. Pfft! Because the black wheel was destroyed, the elders of Qingyang City could not withstand the backlash of their powers. All of them spat out mouthfuls of blood as their organs were severely injured. Oh no! Gao Anqing's expression changed. He could feel a fatal killing intent coming at him. It was aimed at him, and had even locked onto his aura. The air around him was filled with a tangible killing intent. But before he could counterattack, a fist containing the power of a spiral slammed toward him. Dong! His body was immediately pierced by the fist, and his body exploded. Even his soul was torn apart and turned into fragments. Just like that, the nether ghost that had possessed City Lord Gao Anqing was killed by a single punch. Save us! Lord Nether Ghost, save us! Hurry up and save us! Quick, kill this brat! We can't let him continue to go crazy. He's not human at all. He's a monster. He's definitely a monster in human skin. Seeing City Lord Gao Anqing die, the elders of Qingyang City screamed and panicked. They begged the nether ghosts beside them for help, hoping that they would personally take action and kill this arrogant Xia Ping. Their hearts had completely collapsed, and they no longer had the courage to resist Xia Ping. This was especially so for Vice City Lord Tang Yu. He was the most panicked, because he was the main culprit. There was no way he would be spared. Now that the City Lord was dead, he would most likely be next. Countless thunder runes gathered in the depths of the fist imprints, flickering with dazzling flames. Boom! With just a single strike, Tang Yu and the others' bodies were pierced by the lightning. Their bodies exploded into pieces and fell to the ground, dyeing the ground red with blood. At this point, the higher-ups of Green Sun City were basically all dead, and not a single one was left. Now, only 1,000 nether ghosts were left glaring at them like tigers watching their prey, and they were filled with terrifying killing intent. This group of nether ghosts was also extremely powerful. They were basically the elites of Mount Formless, and were at least in the true fire realm. There were even more than 100 golden core nether ghosts. It was no wonder that the upper echelons of the Qingyang City did not resist at all, and surrendered immediately. Facing such a force, they were truly in despair. No matter how they struggled, they would not be able to escape death. However, this wasn't a reason for them to betray their clan, become traitors, and kill their brothers with a clear conscience. Why didn't you agree to let these humans go easy on us? If you have their help, won't it be easier for you and lessen the pressure on you? A dark ghost leader asked. They're just spies. Who knows if they'll betray us again later? Or if we kill them all? They're just a bunch of trash. It doesn't matter if they're here or not. Xia Ping said lightly. Jijia, interesting, truly interesting human. I really can't bear to kill you. Are you interested in becoming a slave of us dark ghosts? I can make the decision to make you the ruler of the humans of this world. You will never become food for us dark ghosts. Commander Nether Ghost wanted to recruit Xiaoping. You want me to become Nether Ghost's slave? Do you have the right? Could he afford it? Aren't you afraid of heaven's wrath? Xiaoping immediately laughed. They were just a bunch of low-level dark ghosts, and they wanted to take him as a slave? They didn't know how high the heavens were, or how deep the earth was. Not even the gods and devils of hell would dare to say such a thing. But this couldn't be blamed on them. These dark ghosts were just low-level monsters of hell. They couldn't even touch the core. So how could they know how mighty the hell golden crows were? Lowly human, we gave you face but you refused it. Since you've chosen to oppose us dark ghosts, then die. The dark ghost's expressions changed, and killing intent soared into the sky. Kill him. Devour his soul and flesh. The dark ghost leader ordered. Dark ghost divine ability. 10,000 ghosts devour the soul. The dark ghosts howled, and used their divine abilities. They let out screeches that created sound waves that could interfere with a human's soul. Their heads felt like they were splitting apart, as they fell into an illusion of hell. They transformed into black smoke, invisible and formless. They tried to burrow into Xiaoping's mind and devour his soul. Even magic treasures were useless against this kind of power. The dark ghosts could easily pass through them, ignoring all defenses. Xiaoping sneered. He didn't move. He didn't even put up any defenses, allowing the dark ghosts to burrow into his body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The dark ghosts viciously laughed as they easily entered Xiaoping's body, entering the depths of his violet kingdom. Haha, foolish human. He didn't even put up any defenses. Is he just waiting for death? He actually foolishly let us enter his soul. He's opening the door to us and waiting for us to eat him. It's rare to see such a foolish human. Is he cutting off his own flesh to feed the eagles? If humans were as reasonable as him, our lives would be much easier. Wait, what's going on with this violet kingdom? It's too big. It's like a minor world. Damn. Is this really a true Fire Realm human martial artist? Damn it, this is bad. We've been tricked. We've fallen for this human's trap. Hurry and escape. Dozens of dark ghosts entered Xiaoping's violet kingdom, viciously laughing. They wanted to find Xiaoping's soul and immediately devour it to strengthen themselves. Some of the dark ghosts had a bad feeling and felt a fatal sense of danger. They roared and tried to escape, but it was too late. With a thought from Xiaoping, the depths of his violet kingdom immediately turned into a solar furnace. Flames burned fiercely, and all kinds of strange flames appeared. There were infernal golden crows, heavenly dragons, world trees, phoenixes, kunpangs, volcanoes, and so on. It was as if this furnace could refine and burn everything. Chapter 1528. Walala. When the solar furnace appeared, the strange flames spread, burning the world. The dark ghosts screamed in fright and tried to flee, but the Violet Palace condensed a crystal wall that prevented them from leaving. Their intestines turned green with regret, but it was too late. Their bodies were immediately incinerated by the flames. In just a few breaths of time, they were turned to ash, completely vanishing from this world. And after these dark ghosts died, they left behind a large amount of spiritual energy that was instantly devoured, strengthening his soul. This caused the mental flames in Xiaoping's Violet Palace to burn even brighter. Damn it, the 500 dark ghosts are all dead. They were all killed by this human. We can't enter this human's body. It's strange. Many dark ghosts sensed that the dark ghost auras that had entered Xiaoping's Violet Palace had disappeared, as if they had been killed and devoured by this human. They were all incomparably furious and shocked. Some dark ghosts rejoiced that they had been a bit too slow and hadn't been able to enter this human's body in time. Otherwise, they would have died without a doubt. Not a bad meal. Xiaoping stretched lazily and burped. It was as if this was not a battle with a terrifying dark ghost, but a delicious dinner. He was completely satisfied. This expression made the dark ghosts even more furious. They were predators, creatures that stood at the top of the food chain. It had always been them who ate humans. When had they ever been eaten by humans? This was too absurd. It was all upside down. Right, I just learned 2 hell divine abilities not too long ago. I wonder how strong they are. Perhaps I can try them. Xia Ping thought of the nether ghost hand and soul binding chains he had just learned. He wanted to take this opportunity to understand the power of these 2 divine abilities. Whoosh! In an instant, he gathered the power of the golden crow of hell in his body, forming a giant hand. Xia Ping sensed that this nether ghost hand divine ability was different from the descriptions in the City Lord Mansion's scripture pavilion. He circulated the power of the golden crow of hell, but he did not condense a ghost-like hand. This hand was a dark gold and incomparably noble. It exuded the aura of hell, and hell's runes condensed on its surface. Countless characters of hell appeared. Faint golden veins appeared in the depths of the hand, like cracks in hell. They produced a terrifying devouring power that howled, like a black hole that could devour the netherworld. He immediately knew that the nether ghost hand seemed to have evolved, and it was more than 10 times more terrifying than before. After all, the nether ghost claw had only been based on the power of the underworld, which was the lowest level of power in the hell realm. But now that Xia Ping was using the power of the golden crow of hell, this divine ability was instantly enhanced by countless times. It was like the speed of a bicycle before, but now it had become an airplane. It was fundamentally different. Dong! With a thought from Xia Ping, the dark golden hand stretched out without a sound. The dozens of nether ghosts in front of him were caught off guard, and they were immediately grabbed by this hand as easily as if they were mosquitoes. What's going on? Why can't I break free? I'm a dark ghost, formless and formless. How could a puny human capture me? Damned human, let go of me. Let go of me right now, or else I will kill your entire family and exterminate your 9 generations. The dozens of dark ghosts howled in terror. They hadn't cared before, as there was nothing in this world that could capture them. Even if it was a magic treasure, they could easily pass through it. But when they were grabbed by this large hand, hell scriptures appeared on the palm, instantly capturing their nether ghost bodies and sealing them, leaving them with nowhere to run. It was as if all of the dark ghost's abilities had disappeared before this hand. They were as weak as ants, and it was easy to imagine how terrified they were. This was something that had never happened before in all of history. Dong! Xia Ping ignored the cries of the dark ghosts. He lightly clenched his hand, and the dozens of dark ghosts were crushed into powder, turning into wisps of gray energy. He stretched out his hand and threw the ball of gray aura into his mouth. In an instant, he swallowed it into his stomach, and the spiritual fire in the depths of his Zifu also rose by a notch. Damn it, we can't let this human continue acting so recklessly. Immediately set down the dark ghost restraint formation and completely suppress him. The dark ghost commander was filled with endless fear. He could sense that Xia Ping was becoming more and more terrifying, but now was not the time to play around. He had to do everything he could to capture this human. The other dark ghosts immediately moved. They could also sense Xia Ping's threat. If they dared to be careless, they would definitely be captured, killed, and eaten alive by this human. In an instant, the dark ghosts set down a grand formation. The dark ghost restraint formation. Swoosh! Swoosh! Boundless dark energy surged out of their bodies. Black lines appeared, forming the seal of the netherworld abyss. A heaven and earth formation appeared, connecting to the netherworld and producing the devouring power of the abyss. When the formation was formed, black chains appeared one after another, forming sealing chains. They danced like dragons and snakes as they attacked Xia Ping. If one was struck by these black chains, they would immediately be able to lock down their soul and make it impossible for them to use any power. At the same time, the magic power in his body continued to climb, madly increasing until it reached its limit. The peak of the true fire realm. Without a doubt, after devouring the soul energy of 1,000 dark ghosts, his martial cultivation had finally reached the peak of the true fire realm. He was just a step away from condensing his golden core and stepping into the golden core realm. Xia Ping felt that as long as he entered seclusion once more, he would be able to refine all the mystiques and talismans in his body and reach the golden core realm. And this was only a matter of time. Besides the improvement in his cultivation, his golden crow of hell bloodline had also evolved. He had awakened hundreds of thousands of golden crow of hell cells, and up to now, he had awakened 2 million golden crow of hell cells. This had also caused his strength, speed, and talent to undergo earth-shattering changes. His understanding of the power of hell had also deepened. Without a doubt, the power of these dark ghosts was extremely beneficial to him. Whoosh! At this moment, there was a huge rumble in the distance, as well as the sound of orderly footsteps. Xia Ping opened his eyes and scanned the area with his divine sense. He sensed that the newcomers were the army of Qingyang City. His battle with the dark ghosts had caused ghostly qi to soar into the sky, and it had finally attracted the attention of the soldiers of Qingyang City. Thus, they had immediately sent scouts to gather information. Chapter 1530. Heavens, what a fierce battle! Just what happened? What dense ghostly qi? Could it be that my lords fought with dark ghosts? Is the battle over? It should be over. There don't seem to be any ripples from the battle. A group of several hundred soldiers immediately ran over to Xia Ping's side. They immediately saw Xia Ping standing at the center of the battlefield and the surroundings. The ground was filled with craters, and the destruction was astonishing. There were also quite a few corpses left behind. It could be imagined just how fierce the battle had been. Just the ripples from the battle had been enough to destroy Green Sun City. In truth, in the face of such a terrifying aura, they did not want to come over. The ripples from the battle had terrified all of Green Sun City's residents, making them think that the end of the world was coming. They were afraid of being caught up in the dark ghost shockwaves and killed. But there was nothing these soldiers could do. They couldn't be completely ignorant, and they had no way of contacting the upper echelons of Green Sun City. In the end, after some discussion, they had dispatched a suicide squad to see what had happened. Look, there's someone alive here. It's Lord Xia. A soldier cried out, recognizing Xia Ping. The other soldiers also looked over. They naturally recognized this extremely arrogant person who had wreaked havoc in Green Sun City a few days ago and heavily injured the commander-in-chief of the three armies, Che Xiujuan. But even after doing such a thing, he had still been treated as an honored guest by the city lord. This was simply inconceivable. This made these soldiers even more familiar with Xia Ping, and his reputation spread far and wide. You came at the right time. Xia Ping glanced at the soldiers. Immediately send out the order to gather the soldiers of Green Sun City at the center of Green Sun City's plaza. I have something to say to them. My lord, what happened just now? A squad leader swallowed his saliva and asked while suppressing the fear in his heart. Many of the elders of Green Sun City were possessed by dark ghosts. The commander-in-chief of the three armies, Che Xiujuan, and Vice City Lord Tang Yu, betrayed the human race and colluded with dark ghosts to kill me here. Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back as he indifferently said, in the end, these traitors of the human race, dark ghost spies, and many dark ghosts were all killed by me. Not a single one was left alive. What? Many of the soldiers were shocked, because the amount of information contained in these words was just too great. Whether it was the elders of Green Sun City being possessed by nether ghosts, or the commander-in-chief of the three armies, Che Xiujuan, and the others betraying the human race and becoming traitors. These people had joined forces with dark ghosts to kill Xia Ping, but they had still been killed by Xia Ping. Each of these events was a major event that could shake Green Sun City and change the status quo. For a moment, they were dumbstruck and did not know what to say. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go. Xia Ping said coldly. He used his spiritual might to suppress the souls of these soldiers. Immediately, these soldiers felt that Xia Ping was like a god, controlling everything and not allowing anyone to disobey his orders. Yes, Lord Xia, we will go there now. The soldiers immediately saluted and ran back to Green Sun City. Xia Ping, what are you trying to do? Why did he have to return to Qingyang City? Could it be that you want to control this city? Corinne was very puzzled by Xia Ping's actions. Yes, I want to control Qingyang City. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. This secret realm is very unique. It is actually connected to the infernal realm. This place must have some great and unfathomable secrets. With my current strength, it is impossible for me to learn the secrets of this secret realm. I will need to fight for a long time, so I need a base here as a foothold. This Qingyang city is a good choice. So that's how it is. Corin nodded. He understood Xiaoping's meaning. This secret realm contained the secrets of the infernal realm, and likely contained great terror and lucky chances. This was not something that could be completely understood in a short period of time. It would require a long period of exploration. If he had a base in this world, and obtained the help of this world's humans, he would be able to obtain twice the results with half the effort. And now that all of the upper echelons of Qingyang City were dead, he could receive all of the city's strength. An hour later, in Qingyang City's plaza. At this moment, Qingyang City's army had received orders, and quickly gathered at the center of the plaza. There were over 200,000 people, almost all of Qingyang City's military strength. This strange action attracted the attention of Qingyang City's residents. They also gathered around the plaza, wanting to know what was going on. It could be said that the gazes of all of Qingyang City's residents had been attracted. Swoosh! A figure descended from the sky, landing on a high platform in the plaza. He looked down from above, looking down on all living beings. Many people immediately looked at the platform. They immediately recognized him. It was the mysterious expert who had arrived in Qingyang City a few days ago, Xiaoping. They were extremely confused as to why this person had gathered everyone here. Pa! Xiaoping waved his hand, and heads were thrown out from his space ring one after another, placed on the platform for everyone to see. Heavens, this head belongs to the city lord Gao Anqing. This is the vice city lord Tang Yu. I've seen him on the streets before. He's a kind old man. Commander Che Xiujia's head is also here, as well as the various elders of Qingyang City. My God, why are all of the upper echelons dead? Could it be that they were killed by Lord Xia? Seeing these heads appear, it was not just the soldiers. Even the residents were shocked. They had never seen such a scene before. All of the upper echelons of Qingyang City had been wiped out. It was just too shocking. These people colluded with Dark Ghost. Their deaths are not to be regretted, so I slaughtered them all. In the future, I will be the lord of Qingyang City. You must listen to me. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, calmly looking at everyone. Stop joking. A roar rang out. Just because you say that the city lord and the others colluded with Dark Ghost, they really did. There's no evidence at all, so why should we believe you? It must be a bastard like you who used some crafty scheme to kill the city lord and the others. A murderer like you wants to take over Qingyang City and become the lord of Qingyang City? You must be dreaming. We will not admit to such a thing. Xiaoping looked over and found that he recognized the person who had spoken. It was the city lord's nephew Gao Ding. He stood below, inciting the soldiers to resist Xiaoping's tyranny and not admit to his rule. Oh, what about you all? What do you all want? Xiaoping looked at the commanders of the army. There were 200,000 soldiers, and every 10,000 of them was a general. So there were 20 generals present, responsible for leading the army. Of course, there were also some military leaders above them, but they had all been killed by Xiaoping. Chapter 1531. Hearing this, the 20 generals glanced at each other. They could all see that the others were not of the same mind. Some were silent. They were wily old foxes, and could not see how the situation was developing. They did not know Xiaoping's strength, so they did not say anything. They wanted to see what the others would do, determined not to stand out. Some had good impressions of Xiaoping, because they knew a bit of the truth. They knew that there was something fishy about the city lord's mansion. The city lord might have been possessed by a dark ghost, and all of Green Sun City had become a breeding ground for dark ghosts. The humans were living a life worse than death. Perhaps it was a good thing that Xiaoping had killed these human vermin. But there were also some people with wild ambitions. They believed that the city lord and many of the upper echelon members were dead. They had worked hard and commanded an army, so there was no reason for them to submit. Among them were the city lord's own troops. They were loyal to the city lord. so they naturally would not listen to the orders of this unknown person. 3 or 4 generals immediately stepped forward, disdainful smiles on their faces. Sir Xia, we respect you, but we also believe that you are going too far in wanting to become the city lord of Green Sun City, a black-robed general said. To tell the truth, let's not talk about whether your words are true or not. Even if they are true, the city lord has sided with Dark Ghost, and many of his elders are traitors who were killed by you. But the position of city lord of Green Sun City is a great responsibility, and can only be chosen from us generals. Even if it isn't us, it has to be a resident of Green Sun City. It cannot be someone like you, who has never met before, and who has come to Green Sun City for the first time. He made his stance clear. That's right. Not just any Tom, Dick, or Harry can become the city lord of Green Sun City. Just because of your words, you want to become the city lord of Green Sun City? You are delusional. To put it bluntly, we old residents of Green Sun City have worked hard and performed great deeds. Even if we lined up, it would not be your turn. Many of the generals sneered, feeling that Xia Ping was not suitable to become the city lord of Green Sun City. Generals, why waste words with this person with ulterior motives? Gao Ding angrily roared, saying that the city lord has sided with Dark Ghost, and is a spy for the humans is utter nonsense. It was clearly him who coveted the position of city lord, and set up a scheme to kill the city lord and the others. The murderer who killed the city lord should be immediately arrested and brought to justice. He should be completely eliminated to avenge the city lord. Why should we talk to the murderer who killed the city lord? He looked at Xia Ping with a vicious and murderous look in his eyes. Gao Ding's hatred was monstrous. City Lord Gao Anxing was dead, and he had lost his greatest backer. In the future, his life in Qingyang City would be difficult, and he would no longer be able to act like a tyrant. It was not hard to imagine that his hatred toward Xia Ping could not be washed away. At this point, Gao Ding paused and continued, I will only say a few words of fairness here. Now that the city lord is dead, the dragons are without a leader. As the saying goes, a snake can't do anything without a head, and a bird can't fly without wings. We must choose a city lord. All the generals here have worked hard for Qingyang City, and there is no distinction between them. It will be very difficult to choose a city lord, but now, there is a standard. That is, whoever kills the city lord's murderer will be the next city lord of Qingyang City. Otherwise, how can the brothers of Qingyang City accept him? He was trying to sow dissension, aiming it at Xia Ping. Hearing these words, the generals present were tempted. If Xia Ping was killed, no one would dare oppose them becoming city lords of Qingyang City. Seeing these generals tempted, Gao Ding became arrogant. So what if you're strong in martial arts? In the end, this world relied on brains. A few words could kill you. He could almost see Xia Ping being caught by the crowd and hacked to death. Everyone. Gao Ding planned to strike while the iron was hot, and continued to sow dissension. You're too noisy. Xia Ping expressionlessly raised a finger. A second later, Gao Ding's head was pierced through, and exploded like a watermelon. Before he died, he didn't even know how he had died. The people around him jumped in fright. Blood splattered on them. Audacious. Too audacious. This is the Green Sun City. How can a murderer like you do as he pleases in this place? As expected, none of your words are true. Saying that the city lord is Dark Ghost's lackey is a joke. Perhaps you are the real Dark Ghost's lackey, and colluded with Dark Ghost to kill the city lord and the others. A general in black roared. Dong! Xia Ping didn't even look. With a light flick of his finger, a terrifying force exploded out and bombarded the general. The general was immediately smashed into pieces of flesh. A huge crater appeared where he had been, with hundreds of cracks. Dust billowed and gravel flew in all directions. Everyone was silent. This was a general in the early stage of the True Fire realm, but he had been killed by a single finger and exploded on the spot. I think you might have misunderstood something. Xia Ping stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking down at the crowd. I didn't come here to make friends with you. You only have one choice now. Submit or die. His body exuded a terrifying aura, like an insurmountable mountain that pressed down on everyone's hearts. At this moment, all of Qingyang City was trembling. Every resident seemed to feel an enormous pressure on their shoulders, and even breathing became difficult. "20,000 lives were placed right in front of them. This was killing the chicken to scare the monkey." Without a doubt, with this effect, Xia Ping's ruthless, domineering, and unreasonable image immediately rose in everyone's heart, and it was almost impossible to resist. "Are you convinced?" Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and emitted a terrifying murderous aura. The first to bear the brunt of it were the dozens of generals standing at the very front. They immediately felt as if they had fallen into a hell of slaughter. With a plop, they knelt on the ground in fright. "We're convinced. We're completely convinced. We are willing to recognize Lord Xia as our master. From today onwards, Lord Xia will be the city lord of Qingyang City." One by one, the generals knelt down to show their allegiance. Even all the elites of the army below the square knelt on the ground, not daring to look Xia Ping in the eye. A seed of fear had been planted in their hearts, and they no longer had the slightest bit of courage. "Very good." Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. "From today onwards, I am the city lord of Qingyang City. My words are the law, orders, and everything. Whoever dares to disobey will die." "Yes, city lord." Everyone roared out, afraid that they would be killed if they were to speak softly. An hour later, in the city lord's mansion of Qingyang City, Xia Ping, the many generals of Qingyang City, and the many middle-level leaders who were still alive appeared in the conference room. "Yes, today is my first day as the boss. You can say whatever you want. Anything that is beneficial to Qingyang City can be mentioned, and I will try my best to solve it," Xia Ping said casually. Everyone looked at each other, and no one dared to speak first. After all, they could say whatever they wanted. If they really said something that would make the city lord unhappy, they would be beheaded. Accompanying a ruler was like accompanying a tiger. "Is there nothing you want to say? Since that's the case, let's end the meeting." After a while no one spoke. Xia Ping waved his hand, and was about to end the meeting. "Wait, city lord, this old man Gubo has something to say." At this time, an old man wearing black armor stood up. He gave off an iron-blooded aura, and was extremely strong. He was 2 meters tall, and looked like a bear. The surrounding people were all extremely nervous, because this elder was of noble character and great prestige. Originally, he should have become an elder, but because of his upright and plain-spoken nature, he offended the city lord, and as a result he was sent down. After working for several decades, killing countless demons and dark ghosts, he was still only a general, unable to become a commander. They were afraid that this old man would say something he shouldn't say and anger this tyrant. If that happened, they would suffer. "Yes, what do you want to say?" Xia Ping said. The old man Gubo stared at Xia Ping and said, "If it was Sir Xia who killed the original city lord, you should know that some of the elders, and even the city lord of Green Sun City, have been possessed by the dark ghost. There are also some cowardly people who have become traitors, and become dark ghost spies. I do know this, but from the looks of it, you also seem to know." Xia Ping nodded. Everyone present lowered their heads. They were not idiots, and with their high status, it was impossible for them not to notice something fishy. But by the time they learned the truth, Green Sun City had long since become a nest of dark ghosts, invaded by countless dark ghosts. Even the city lord was dead, and countless elders had joined the dark ghosts and become traitors. What was done, and the dark ghosts had established their power. They were powerless to reverse the situation, so they could only pretend to be deaf and dumb, and not know anything. "We do know, but we are not a match for the dark ghosts, so we can only endure this humiliation," the old man Gubo said helplessly. "But if Lord Xia truly wants to revitalize Green Sun City, and return peace to the human race, you must eliminate the dark ghosts still lurking in Green Sun City. To tell you the truth, because the city lord was possessed, many of the elders betrayed him, causing Green Sun City to be filled with nether ghosts. Once night falls, they go around committing evil and devouring humans, causing Green Sun City to be in a foul atmosphere with countless casualties." He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth in anger. "So that's how it is. This isn't a big problem. Just find these dark ghosts and kill them all, Xiaoping said indifferently. In truth, this was also what he wanted to do. This was his territory. So how could he tolerate these dark ghosts acting so wantonly? Lord Xia, you absolutely cannot. Please reconsider. A general immediately stepped forward. These dark ghosts are traceless and invisible, and there are many of them. If we capture them with great fanfare, they will definitely go crazy and wreak havoc in the city. At that time, who knows how many civilians will die? Chapter 1533. Hearing this, quite a few people fell silent. Capturing dark ghosts was simple, but they feared that once these dark ghosts learned that they did not have long to live, they would start a massacre and drag countless people down with them. After all, this was Green Sun City, a human city. The slightest collision, and the shockwaves of battle could destroy an entire region. That's simple. Xiaoping did not find this difficult. As long as I set up a pure Yang Evil Punisher formation in Green Sun City, once the formation is activated, pure Yang flames will fill the air and instantly exterminate these dark ghosts. Lord Xia, are you skilled in formations? Gu Bo and the others were delighted. They had not expected Xiaoping to be so knowledgeable and even understand formations. In this world, formation grandmasters were extremely rare. Hard to find even in 100 years. I can't say that I'm very skilled, just a bit, Xiaoping said honestly. Xiaoping said honestly. That was indeed the case. Compared to a real array master, he was still a long way off. But in the eyes of Gu Bo and the others, this was just modesty. To be able to set up a formation meant that one was already a formation grandmaster. This was not just a bit of understanding. But if we brazenly set up a formation, won't we be discovered by the dark ghosts? Some people were worried that the dark ghosts would discover them ahead of time and cause a riot. Can't we just find an excuse? Xiaoping said lazily. I just happened to see that Green Sun City seems to be very shabby, with potholes everywhere. It's like a refugee camp. I think it's time to repair it. If we set up a formation while the city is being built, I trust that the dark ghosts won't notice anything. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with my words? As he spoke, he saw the troubled expressions of Gu Bo and the others. My lord, if possible, we also want to build a city wall. Alas, even the cleverest housewife cannot cook without rice. Gu Bo and the others were helpless. They expressed that Green Sun City was poor and had no resources at all. Just fighting against the dark ghosts required a great deal of energy to survive. There was no need to think about anything else. Moreover, building a city wall required a great deal of manpower. Mobilizing the residents of Green Sun City to help build a city wall was also a difficult matter. It's just materials. I have plenty of them, and I don't need manpower. What era is it? Do you still need people to build walls? Xiaoping was very rich. Not to mention others, Gaia's body was a planet the size of a star. There were countless resources in it. Just a little bit of it was enough to flood a city. It was not even a drop in the bucket. Moreover, the construction of the city did not require manpower at all. Intelligent nanomachines were more than enough. And there was also 3D printing technology. Not to mention the construction of the city. Even if they were to build a new city from start to finish, it would only take a day. What? Gu Bo and the others did not know why Xiaoping was so confident. Their technology was too far apart from the universe. One was in the feudal era, the other was in the interstellar era. It was impossible to imagine the greatness of technology. The next day, under the leadership of Corinne, the work of repairing and transforming Qingyang City began. Countless engineering robots were manufactured and scattered all over the city. There were also a lot of building materials that were taken from Dumbo's body and piled up like a mountain. Under the escort of Qingyang City's army, the engineering robots were repairing the city walls, streets, and major buildings at a speed visible to the naked eye. The city walls were also made of high-tech polymer materials. They were light and hard. Ordinary demons could not easily penetrate them, and they could withstand the bombardment of hundreds of missiles. It could be said that the defense of the city walls had increased by more than 10 times. Even the streets had undergone earth-shaking changes. They were uniform and uniformly improved. Those bumpy dirt roads were built into asphalt roads, which were clean, tidy, and spacious. In the dark, Xiaoping was also arranging the pure yang evil punishing formation. Of course, no one knew about this. Hidden in the huge project, everyone was attracted by the appearance of these robots. What kind of strange thing is this? Its whole body is metal, but it can move. It's too strange. I once heard that there were some strange people in the far north who claimed to be alchemists who could refine strange samples. Maybe these are alchemy products. It's incredible, too incredible. These alchemy products are too amazing. Originally, it would have taken hundreds of thousands of people and at least 3 months to build. Now they can finish it in a day. Their efficiency is extremely high. Moreover, these materials are new. They are much harder than rocks. I tried it just now and used all my strength to cut it, but I could only leave a mark on it. The most terrifying thing is that it recovered after a while. According to Lord Xia, this is some kind of memory metal. As long as it is not completely destroyed, it can recover quickly. My God, with this kind of metal, doesn't it mean that the city walls are basically indestructible? This kind of metal should be very precious. But in Lord Xia's hands, he took out big pieces after big pieces as if they were free. Could it be that these materials are so common in Lord Xia's eyes? Moreover, the efficiency is too fast. It only took them a day to renovate the entire Qingyang city. It's like a dream. According to Lord Xia, it is not a big problem to build another city in a day. The upper echelons of Qingyang city and the generals were all dumbfounded. Chapter 1534. A day passed. Late at night, Green Sun City. The dark ghosts hiding around the city could no longer suppress their bloodthirst. They spread out, planning to devour the humans. They believed that with so many humans in the city, eating a few wouldn't be a big deal. Kiki, foolish humans, go and die. Obediently become our food. But didn't the Lord order us to keep a low profile and not arouse the humans' suspicions? What's there to be afraid of? It's just eating a few humans. This city has millions of people. What does it matter if we eat a few? That's right. They won't notice anything. We'll just eat a few and hide. I guarantee that no one will find out. Dark ghosts appeared one after another. They did their best to hide their auras as they passed through the buildings and arrived at the residences. When they saw the sleeping humans, their eyes shone with a cold, bloodthirsty light. To them, these sleeping humans were lambs waiting to be slaughtered, food to fill their stomachs. Dang, dang, dang. At this moment, all of Green Sun City shook. Alarms rang out, shaking every corner of the city. With the city lord's mansion at the center, a massive and powerful array emerged from deep underground. All the heaven-earth yuan qi in a 10,000-mile radius was sucked into Green Sun City. In the sky, dark clouds surged, condensing into substance like a great river crashing. All around Green Sun City, the city walls, the streets, and even every building emitted a crimson light. It was as if the entire city had been transformed into a world of crimson flames. Any human in Green Sun City could feel a warm aura appear, filling every corner of the city, as if they had been enveloped by a warm current. This was pure yang energy, and it was of great benefit to humans. Some children, elderly and injured adults, after sensing this pure yang energy, felt their illnesses recover at a visible rate. It was extremely comfortable, as if they were soaking in amniotic fluid. If someone could observe the entire Qingyang city, they would know that the city had been completely set up into a huge formation. Deep underground, there were materials such as mithril, spiritual stones, cloud steel, red gold iron, cloud jade, firestone, and other materials that formed the foundation of the formation. It was operating at a high speed, like a Kuan Peng, devouring the pure yang energy in the depths of the void. At this moment, the entire city had become a weapon of war, filled with a terrifying murderous aura. Without a doubt, the pure yang evil punisher formation that Xiaoping had set up had been activated. This pure yang energy was of great benefit to humans, but to dark ghosts, it was lethal energy. They melted like snow meeting sunlight. Hiss hiss. The nether ghosts also came into contact with this pure yang energy. Their bodies immediately melted as if they were scalded, and they screamed miserably. "Damn it, we've been tricked! We've been tricked!" However, to advance to the Golden Core realm, not only did he need a powerful mental flame, he also needed the support of boundless energy. After all, it was impossible to condense a golden core without the support of enough energy, not to mention that he had a strong foundation. So the energy needed to condense a golden core was more than 100 times that of ordinary people. "Don't worry, Master." At that moment, the green ox's voice sounded. "Previously, I obtained the soul-cleansing grass and many other spiritual herbs. During this period of time, I've been refining these golden cores into elixirs. I call these elixirs the Divine Powers elixirs. The energy contained in a single Divine Power elixir is equivalent to the lifetime cultivation essence of a golden core perfected being and contains a tremendous amount of energy. Right now, I've refined a total of 20 Divine Power elixirs. I believe that Master will definitely be able to step into the Golden Core realm easily with these 20 Divine Power elixirs." Whoosh! It waved its hand, and 20 purple pills appeared in midair. There seemed to be many mysterious characters on them, as if there were talismans of divine abilities contained within them. They were profound and unfathomable, and emitted a noble and powerful aura. Without a doubt, these were the divine ability pills. Xiaoping could also sense the boundless energy contained in these pills. He estimated that the energy contained in a small spirit stone mine could not compare to the energy contained in a divine ability pill. Without another word, he immediately entered the City Lord's mansion's cultivation room. Chapter 1535. In a certain valley, this was the territory of the goat-horned demons. It was filled with sinister demonic qi. The goat-horned demons were famous demons in hell, and their demonic power was extremely terrifying. Many dark ghosts had appeared in this valley, and their leader was the Faceless Ghost King. He still wore a mask and gave off a strange and sinister aura. One of the goat-horned demons, whose body was like a small mountain, sat on the ground and gave off terrifying demonic qi. He held a mountain-splitting axe that was almost tangible, and he looked down on all living beings. "Faceless Ghost King, why have you come to my place? Do you want to start a war with me, the Goat-Horned Demon King?" The Goat-Horned Demon King said in a muffled voice as he stared at the Faceless Ghost King. His cultivation had reached the early stage of the returning truth realm, and his strength was not inferior to the Faceless Ghost King. In the valley, the goat-horned demons stared at him like tigers watching their prey. It was as if they would swarm the dark ghosts if they dared to attack. "I don't want to start a war. I just want to join forces with you to destroy a human city." The Faceless Ghost King stated his goal. Hearing this, the goat-horned demon king seemed to have heard a joke. "It's just a human city. Can't you, the Faceless Ghost King, destroy it? You actually want to ask me for help? Are you here to joke with me?" He laughed loudly, and the other goat-horned demons also laughed loudly. The Faceless Ghost King was unmoved and said seriously, "There's a human in that city. He's very powerful and has mastered Hell's Fire, which specifically counters us dark ghosts. I sent over 1,000 dark ghosts to kill him, but they were all destroyed by him. If we don't get rid of this person, he'll definitely become a great enemy in the future. Perhaps both you and I will be killed by him." His expression was very serious. When he heard that over 1,000 dark ghosts had been killed, he was furious and wanted to immediately get rid of that human. But after his anger disappeared, he became cautious. Over 1,000 dark ghosts had not been able to test that human's bottom line, so he might have the strength to harm the Faceless Ghost King. This made him even more cautious, and he came to find allies. "Mastered Hell's Fire? Is that true? How can a mere human have the right to master Hell's Fire?" Hearing this, the goat-horned demon king's pupils constricted, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. The Hell's Flames were not just effective against dark ghosts, they were also extremely harmful to Yama demons. Of course it's true. I don't need to lie. Although I don't know how that human managed to master it, there's no doubt about it. I suspect that he's not a human from this world, but from another world. The Faceless Ghost King voiced his conjecture. "What? Another human world?" The goat horn demons were all shocked. They didn't expect to hear this kind of news. Yes, and this is very likely. If we capture that human and interrogate him, we might be able to find the entrance to another human world. The faceless ghost king said in a deep voice, "This world is still too small. If we can find more human worlds, our strength will be further strengthened." Whether it was the nether ghosts or the Yaoma, to them, humans were precious flesh and blood medicine. Eating even one of them would increase their power and allow them to rapidly advance. Therefore, finding a new human world was equivalent to finding a treasure medicine mausoleum. The benefits were endless. There was no nether ghost or demon who could resist this kind of power. Don't you dare lie. Otherwise, this king will let you know the true meaning of the wrath of a goat horn demon. Even your formless mountain will be completely destroyed because of this. The goat horn demon king stared at the formless ghostly king with surging killing intent as he threatened. Of course it's true. The faceless ghost king was unmoved. This time, I'm not only planning on inviting you, the goat horn demon king. I'll also invite the venomous centipede demon king and the slaughter demon king. We'll work together with the 3 demon kings to kill that human. Hearing this, the goat horn demon king's eyes lit up. How generous. You even dare to invite the venomous centipede demon king and the slaughter demon king. Aren't you afraid that the other 2 demon kings will have too big of an appetite and devour you? If the faceless ghost king really dared to invite the other 2 demon kings, then this matter was definitely true. After all, no matter how arrogant the faceless ghost king was, he wouldn't dare to offend the 3 demon kings at the same time. That would be courting death. He was now 70 to 80% convinced of the faceless ghost king's words. I'm just afraid that their appetite isn't big enough. The faceless ghost king sneered. If we can find a new human world, it'll be a great benefit. I alone won't be able to devour it. Of course, I'll need to invite my allies to share it. Of course, more importantly, that human is very difficult to deal with. He has many abilities. If it's just me, he might be able to escape and slip away. But with the 3 demon kings and me, the faceless ghost king, taking action, no matter how powerful that human is or what powerful trump cards he has, he'll definitely die. He had already calculated everything. In order to kill the human Xiaoping, he would mobilize all his strength. Very good. If I can obtain news of a new world, I'll naturally be duty-bound. Tell me, when do we start? The goat horn demon king was a little impatient. Don't be anxious. The faceless ghost king waved his hand. I still need to inform the other 2 demon kings. And you also need to mobilize all your forces. It'll take at least 2 to 3 days. At the same time, I also need to make all sorts of arrangements to prevent that human from escaping if something goes wrong. If that happens, everything we've done would be for nothing. We have to be fully prepared before we take action. It's fine if we don't take action, but once we do, we have to strike like lightning. He wasn't anxious at all. Although his heart was boiling with killing intent, he still endured it. Once everything was set up, that human Xiaoping would truly be unable to escape. And not bad. Then I'll leave this matter to you. 3 days later, we'll set out for Azure Sun City. The goat horn demon king also knew that the human was staying in Azure Sun City. He was very satisfied with the faceless ghost king's cautiousness. This was the method of a successful person, absolutely foolproof. Alright, let's do this. I'll go negotiate with the slaughter devil king and the poison nightmare first. The faceless ghost king stood up and bade farewell to the goat horn demon king. In the following days, he negotiated with the slaughter devil king and the poison centipede demon king. Without a doubt, these 2 demon kings were also very interested in the new world, believing that it was a huge opportunity. The 2 demon kings agreed to work together with the faceless ghost king to set out for Azure Sun City and exterminate that otherworld human. At this moment, the people of Azure Sun City didn't know that they were about to face a calamity. They also didn't know that 4 demon king ranked demons had their eyes on Azure Sun City and that the army was about to arrive. They were currently immersed in the joy of a new city. They felt incomparably safe, and it was many times more comfortable than the Azure Sun City that was ruled by Gao Ansheng. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.